we're awaiting the start of the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Trustees meeting for May 12th.
Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4B, copy of the civility statement. The community, when addressing the board, we want to communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others. Listen objectively, carefully, considering the opinions of others. Understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, or intimidating behaviors. Understand and respect district policies and procedures. Maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. Item 5, closed session. The board will consider and may act on any of the following items in closed session. In action taken in closed session will be reported in open session as required by law. Closed session may be called at any time during the formal meeting by the motion of the Board of Education for the purpose of discussing personnel problem, pupil problem, purchase consultation on legal problem with an attorney and with employee organizations in regard to salaries and the fringe benefits. All formal action in such matters must be made in open meeting. Conference with labor negotiations, public employee discussion, discipline, dismissal, release, and student matters. It's my duty to inform that no action was taken during closed session. Item number 6, public comments, recognitions, and reports. Dr. Zahakian.
Yes, sir. We have 2 public comment cards this evening.
Okay, during public culture, our first presenter competition is Miss Marilyn Alford. You could step up to the microphone and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Marilyn Alford Walsh.
Is it on?
Okay, good. Okay, is that better? Very good. My name is Marilyn Alford Walsh, and I teach at the middle school. Right now, I know that last month we had a lot of teachers that came from the high school to share what they're feeling and how the year has gone. And I'm here to share on behalf of High Desert. Before I start, I want to address the board and just say thank you for hearing me tonight. And also, thank you for coming to support the Silver League Championship volleyball game that was hosted at Vasquez for our High Desert students that play volleyball. They did really well, and our students need something to celebrate, and they should be proud of their hard work and their effort. I know the girls did really well. I don't know how the boys did, so. But it was great to see so many community members and our board members there to support the girls and boys. So last month we heard a lot of disgruntled teachers at the high school, and we know that it's because of the work overload, it's because of the class sizes, it's because of multiple or combo classes that they are teaching. And I'm here to say that the same thing is going on at the middle school. Morale is low, and we only have a few weeks left, and we should be celebrating with the students, but we still see the social emotional needs that aren't being met for the kids because there are so many and so many that are suffering. And we need to have a nurse on our site regularly. We need to also have counselors on our site. And I know that we have brought them on, but we should have had them at the beginning of the year, and we really need them regularly on our campus for our students. Our middle school students need that support. Oh, we need a PE teacher. Okay, I know that we have Miss Botten, and she is our adaptive PE teacher, and she's fabulous, and she works throughout the entire district. But our school site needs a PE teacher. I am teaching PE, and we have a SEB teaching PE. I also teach 7th grade science, 8th grade science, and the college and career technology class. I do not have a prep. And so this year, with up to 37 kids in the class, does not allow me to meet the needs adequately of our kids. And so we need people. We need to hire. We took away teachers. We dropped our staff in half. And so we've taken on more, and we wonder why teachers are leaving. We're not paid enough.
Hang on, excuse me. Ms. Albert spent about the first minute making community announcements. Please keep going.
Thank you. And so I'm on negotiations. We spent 6 months meeting with the district. And so that was nice to develop that relationship and have that, and hopefully that we can move forward with that. But teachers can go to other places and just teach one subject if they're at the middle school. They're not teaching all these different grade levels and multiple subjects. And so for myself, my workload doubled, just like everybody else on our campus. And we've had teachers that now have had to retire because of medical concerns and family concerns that they couldn't meet. And it was due to stress this year. And I know at the beginning of the year, I said in September that the teachers were exhausted. We shouldn't have been so exhausted, but things didn't happen the way they should have with our block scheduling and things like that. We need that support. We need that for next year. Teachers are leaving. They can go to other campuses, teach one class, same grade level, and be paid more. We are here because we are invested in the community. We love our kids. We put kids first. We want to make sure that we keep teachers. We don't send them away. And so it's my concern that we need to make changes. We need to support the principal, give the principal the autonomy to make the changes that are best for the school, and not undermine or decide to change those things like I'm talking about with our block scheduling and hiring and things like that. So if we are going to hire at our school, I want to see that the principal is on that committee. I want to see that teachers are on that committee, that community members are on that committee, and anybody that knows our school to be on that committee, not people that aren't on our school regularly or on our campus. Sorry, not on the school, but on the campus. So I don't want to look elsewhere. I'm invested here, and I'm probably going to have my grandkids go through here. So I would like to stay on as long as possible, but the workload is killing me. So my medical issues are high, and I've lost a tooth and haven't had time to go fix it. But I'm here, humbled, and just saying, please, we need you to support our school and our principals at all site levels. Please. And we need to work with the district. I feel like our district is very disconnected with us, and it's like 3 separate houses. We've got the executive branch, we've got the Senate, we've got the House of Representatives, and I don't know that we're all coming together. And I would like to see that. Thank you.
Our second presenter is going to be on Zoom. Is that correct, Mr. Alex? And it will be Eleanor, is that handle? Shirk. Is she there? Ms. Shirk, can you hear us? wait for IT to check. Is she not available?
Here.
Go ahead, you have 3 minutes. Could you please state your name for the record, please?
Eleanor Handel.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I teach at High Desert, and I've been with the district for almost 20 years. And just some of the things that we're noticing lately, and, you know, like my colleagues spoke, it's very disheartening. We have a good principal, very good principal. Finally, we have a good principal. And it seems like nothing she does is right, you know, in the eyes of the district. That's just our perception. I've experienced it in my own classroom, where begged for help for students, begged for help, and my cries for help were gone on her. I was told, you got enough help in there, figure it out. This came from the district office, not from my principal. It's sad. We're there for the kids, and it doesn't seem like our district is there for the kids. I don't know how else to say it. You know, we go every day for our kids, but I don't think they're there for our kids. I have not had a visitor from the district in my classroom for anything good, to praise my students or anything, until there's a problem. It's not okay. Our teachers need support from the district office. Our principals need support. Whatever is done that is good seems to be undone by the district. One person or two, I'm not sure, but we need the support. The nation's teacher crisis. And instead of being praised for staying there and working for our students, it's almost like, oh, let's see what else we can throw at you. You know, I was pretty much told that I kind of sort of asked for, I'm teaching 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. SDC, I have 21 students. And not once has anyone from the district said, how are you doing? Is there anything we can help you? You know, thank you for taking on the extra 2 classes while we look for a teacher. Not once. Not once. Instead, I got, you asked for it, basically. You said you would do it. You didn't want the kids to start out with a sub. Right, because we are teachers and we love our students and we're there for our kids. We need district support, and not just when something bad's going to happen or a lawsuit is going to happen. We need it all year round. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's like, it's hard to work for a district where you know they don't have your back. You know, we've seen people come and go, yet who's still there? Us teachers, we're still there. Michelle is the best principal we have had in years. And somehow it looks from where we're standing like someone's making her life miserable. She does something, it gets undone. You know, policy in place, policy gets undone because somebody doesn't like it. We need help at High Desert. We need your support. We need the support from the board. We need the parent support. We can't teach on scraps, and we can't teach on, you know, you asked for it or this is what you signed up for. No, this isn't what we signed up for. We signed up to be treated fairly. We signed up to be, you know, to be supported by the district we work for. I travel an hour every day without traffic, you know, for my students. But to be mistreated by my district, to be disrespected, to have my opinion discounted because I asked for help. Help was denied. The emails that were returned to my principal and I were, you've got enough adults in your room, figure it out. That is not what a district does. That is not what the district personnel should do. And my cries for help were from October for one student. And again, and again, and again, the response was, figure it out. You got people to do. Well, then when, things went sour, when everything went south and parents got upset, then it's her fault. She must have not been doing anything. That is not what districts are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to all be together for the kids. And I don't ever really speak out, but this is so heartbreaking to see what's happening on our campus and to see the lack of district support. It's almost like, here's a body, figure out what to do with it. Our aides don't get any training. I don't want to repeat everything that my colleagues have said, or that are going to say. I am just begging you, our board, look at everything. Look at the great things that Michelle is doing. Look at the great things that we are doing. Our SDC classrooms.
Excuse me, Ms. Mandel. Can you please read your comments? The time limit has expired.
I'm sorry, say that again. It's very low, your volume.
Yes, the time limit has expired for comments.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Moving on. Number 6B, Golden Spotlight, Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. Well, as we could all see, thank you, students, for being so incredibly patient. Thank you, Vasquez, for the wonderful photos that we got just in the nick of time. Our Vasquez High School athletics have done it again. So for the Golden Spotlight, we are recognizing our dynamic Vasquez girls soccer and softball teams as league champions for this evening. To do the honors, we have from Assemblyman Lackey's office, Mr. Carlo Paseo, here with us this evening, thank you. And from Supervisor Kathleen Barger's office, Mr. Charles Boswick, and our athletic director, Mr. Sheldon Sparks, will be doing the honors and reading off our super athletes and their names. So please, the podium is yours.
Good evening. Good evening, and it's good to see you all. Thanks for coming out. Before we start, I just want to give a little background about this soccer team this year. First of all, this was right in the midst of COVID, where we were wearing masks, where we had to quarantine for 10 days. And so this start of this year was very frustrating because we had about 16, 17 different games. And we ended up only playing 10. That was because teams had to fall out. We couldn't make a reschedule preseason games. And so the year for this soccer team started out very frustrating. They started out 1-3. And we were playing really tough competition. We were playing schools that were 2 or 3 divisions higher than us. And there was a little bit of frustration starting to seep in. And then I remember Val coming into class one day, we had a conversation, and I just told her, I said, look, you're going to be fine. Once we get into the league, you guys are going to be fine. We've got good senior leadership. You guys are going to gel as people. You guys know each other. And you have a coach, and I'll just digress here. Coach Terry came in and he stepped in midway through the year. This man has 199 wins at Vasquez. He's the winningest coach in Vasquez history. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. Even with that addition, there was no doubt in my mind that this team was going to rally. And so once we got into the league, we started rolling, we started getting confident. And it was because of that senior leadership. It was, the ones who are in my class every day. So my hat's off to you. You guys did a fantastic job. It's well earned. You are one of 3 teams, all girls teams this year that won league. And so you represented Vasquez very well. So I'm going to give you a shout out right now. Am I reading off the roll call? Is that what I'm doing here? Okay.
Go up there and stand here. We'll go across the front of the bench here.
Okay, the first one I have is Valerie Benali. Sorry if I brutalized that girl. Next one is Brooklyn Berger, Aliana Blaha, Mariana Farias, Savannah Goodnight, Ashley Hinkle, Maya Hurtado, Lindsay Light, Leanne Lopez, Mackenzie Nolan, Valerie Romero, Shannon Roosh, Stormy Roosh, Charlotte Sanchez, Natalie Sanchez, and Emily Sandoval Pluff, Mackenzie Van Ornum, and Hannah Weaver. Congratulations, ladies. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have those on the Presley, Hannah Bird, and Juliana. All right, sorry, girls. I didn't realize that. And Terry Comstock, head coach, yes.
Board, we'll just crunch him right above here, so the board will be right above. Congratulations. All board members, this question,
Yes, we're going to present individually on behalf of Assemblyman Tom Lackey.
Supervisor Kent. All right, now we got to get, now that you're all on the order, now. Adam Burns.
This is what we do the work for. Everything you hear up here, whatever, this is why we do the work. You guys are all stars. Thank you.
You guys can stand though. You don't have. You're okay. I have known a lot of you. Some of you since preschool. A lot of you since kindergarten. You are growing into beautiful young women. I know a lot of you are also scholar athletes, getting those good grades and being amazing on the field. Congratulations. This is a huge deal for you. This is a huge deal for your team. It's a huge deal for your school. So congratulations. And good job working hard and getting it all done. And they don't do what they do without an incredible coach. And watching the way that they interact with you just here tonight, I know you're a great coach. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you do.
Good job, ladies. You're making Acton Algodal State proud. It's great to watch your success. Mr. Comstock, thank you for taking the time and teaching these girls how to be the best athletes they can be. Your leadership does not go unnoticed, and I appreciate it. Let's go to our athletic director also for being part of this. Congratulations.
So I'm going to take a little credit here. I was trying to retire. I tried, like, no, go back to work. No, go back to work. No, and he finally left, and then we got him back. But I think it was 2006 or 8 or whatever. I said, sure, let's put the scoreboard up. Well, let's do some announcing. And he goes, yeah, let's do it. So I'm up there in the press box, and I went, go! And they said, coach, you hit the sign, and then it said, go in, and turned around. And it really did come on. So back then, I got hooked on soccer. I watch it all the time, and it's because of Terry and all you girls do such a great job. It's exciting to watch you play. Congratulations on your effort. We really enjoyed Vasquez and Adults State. A round of applause for our champions.
smart boy that I gave him was, he came back and he did it, and I really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Excuse me, one more question. Do y'all know a realtor that can contact? Perfect, so thank
Continue with the golden spotlight. We have Mr. Sparks. We'll have certificates for our softball athletes at a later date, but just to read off their names and to recognize our champion softball girls, Mr. Sparks.
And again, just to give a little background on softball. Softball is probably the most successful program at Vasquez. They play in the highest division. They're coached by Salcedo and Salcedo. They're doing a fine job. But again, it's about the kids, it's about the girls. And most of this team right here is also on the softball team as well. So my hat's off to you girls again for being recognized. So we have Brooklyn Berger, Ryan Dolph, Leanne Lopez, Harley Lundquist. Sorry. Sadie Mendoza, Nicole Muro, Mackenzie Nolan, Tenley Pewitt, Valerie Romero, Haley Rudd, Mackenzie Van Ornum, and Hannah Weaver. And so congratulations, ladies.
Board comments? Continue with a little bit of a golden spotlight. I'm sorry, Mr. Jorgensen. I didn't mean to steal your thunder here. In addition, the Heritage League informed us most recently, since we have him here in our audience, our AD, Mr. Sheldon Sparks, that he's the Heritage League Coach of the Year again this year for baseball. Just to shed some more light, that's 2 years in a row for Mr. Sparks. Thank you, Mr. Sparks. Mrs. Nicole Salcedo is also the Heritage League Coach of the Year again this year for softball, 2 years in a row. And Ms. Karen DeHammer is the Heritage League Coach of the Year for her work with men's volleyball team. This is incredible. Yeah. Recognition for the coaches, since to have 3 coaches win for spring athletics is a huge honor. Congratulations to all 3. You make us proud. Thank you.
This is just so exciting because I love the sports program. I think it's so important, and to have so many winners is just such a great honor. It's so good for our school district. And congratulations, Mr. Sparks, for all of your hard work and all that you do. There's a lot to go behind putting all these sports together, I'm aware. So I really appreciate all that you've done, and thank you, girls. Congratulations, and I hope you're having a blast.
I said in the last board meeting that I have never seen, there's always been teams, I've never seen the level of performance in bringing home trophies and championships. Of course, it's about, all that stuff the adults tell you about, but the bottom line is when you have a trophy in your hand, that's what I pay attention to. I've never seen the sports program in my 10 years either sitting out there or being up here what this one is tonight. Thank you.
First, I will speak on our softball championship. Those girls also are at that age where I've been able to watch them grow. Most of that team was on the team that I was coaching when COVID hit. So we got a couple of games, some rained out, and then that was it. That's all we got for them. And then they come back and they go to Vasquez and they are just knocking it out of the park, literally. They're incredible kids, they're incredible players, they're incredible students, being raised by incredible families. So congratulations to them. They are an exciting team to watch, those softball girls. Congratulations to Nicole and Karen on your, and to Coach Sparks on your winning Coach of the Year. That is awesome. I will say that I have had a lot of my kids play a lot of sports and a lot of different things. We've had a lot of coaches. 2 of my boys were incredibly lucky to play for Coach Sparks. And I will tell you, I know I've told you before, but I will tell you right here on record, write this down. The best coach that my kids have ever had, hands down, is Coach Sparks. You are incredible on and off the field. You're an incredible mentor to those kids. You're a mentor to those around you. You treat your parents fair. You treat your players fair. If I could take a little piece of you and instill it in every single coach around the entire country, you do amazing things for our kids. So thank you for all that you do on and off the field. My very favorite coach ever. So congratulations on your Coach of the Year.
All right, athletics is firing on all cylinders right now. It's awesome. It's the best thing going on in our school right now. It takes us up out of all the negativity that we got going on, and it's great to see. So congratulations to you ladies. You guys are kicking the heck out of the boys' booties at the moment, so that's cool. Good job. Congratulations to all the coaches that received their Coach of the Year awards. It makes you feel good coming from a hometown like this to hear good, positive things happening. And I'll echo what Brandon said about Coach Sparks. You know, my son, his freshman year, had never swung a baseball bat, never even threw a baseball aside from us playing in the backyard a little bit. And he taught my oldest son how to play baseball, and he played pretty well until he decided he didn't want to play anymore. But, you know, to this day, he still has his little MVP trophy in his dorm up at the college. So it meant something to him. So you touched his life. And congratulations to that. And you're doing a great job, so keep it up. Thank you, ladies, for being here tonight.
Well, it's always been known that the ambassadors for a school are the athletes. They're the ones that go out and make the impressions on the community. They bring the community together, the parents, the fans, come together and have a great time, whether it be at Larry Lake Memorial Field. Ladies, congratulations on your softball championship. And so academics is important, but the success in academics comes with athletic participation. There's a direct link to the two. If you're an athlete, you're going to do well in class. But the coaches instill that discipline and that character and that integrity and teamwork. And I believe that with my whole heart. And it's demonstrated right here with the young ladies that we have here that have done successful in soccer with Coach Terry and then Ms. Salcedo. Well, congratulations. With regards to our coaches, Mr. Hemmer coming in, taking a team that was fractured at the beginning of the season and coming up with a successful season and earning the Coach of the Year. I know that's incredible work on her behalf. Ms. Salcedo, I'm sorry we came up short, but it was a great playoff game that I came out there to watch and sit there and watch, and just to watch the camaraderie on the team and the fans and everybody sitting around the field there on our nice little own softball on our campus. You girls can be very proud of that. Coach Sparks, I know how he got this because they drive by and they see this guy out there watering the infield every day. And I know that's how he got it. If you want to know where he's at, just there'll be a small little Ford Prius sitting off to the side, and there'll be a guy out there watering the infield, making sure it looks just perfect. And that's the commitment you have to your program and your athletes. You need to be committed. Great recognition, Coach Sparks, and to all of our coaches for their hard work and making success of our students and our student athletes. Thank you again.
One more thing that I want to add. We don't get exceptional athletes that start at the high school level. They start at the youth level. And I do want to point out that both our softball girls and most of you soccer girls, I'm pretty sure, were coached by the guy sitting in the back, Coach Berger. So I just want to point out that he coached these girls from the time they were itty bitty, and you had a lot to do with these championships too, even though you're not coaching them today. You taught them well. So I just want to point that out.
All right, congratulations to you all. If you want to sit around and watch us go about our business, that's just great. Everybody, we have one more comment that's going to come up here in just. Coach Terry got MVP. Oh, wait, stand up, Terry. We don't know who you are. Stand up, Terry. Terry's always tried to slide under the radar. He just wants to be on the sideline, doesn't want anybody recognizing him. I apologize for that. Congratulations, sir. I want my coin back. Give it back. So I think we have one reset here for a moment. We have one more person that would like to comment before we move on. Jason Berger. You'll come up to the microphone and state your name for the record, please.
Actually, it's not on. I turned it off. Push the button.
Okay. Right. Thank you for hearing me. My name is Jason Berger. I'm the father of three. Three children that have gone all the way through the school district. My oldest daughter, which is the reason I'm here today, is because of Senior Walk Day. My oldest daughter, when she was a senior, got to do Senior Walk Day and see her two other siblings at school. I didn't know anything about Senior Walk Day. So all of a sudden that was the buzz when they all got home, and they're at home talking about it. And then my oldest daughter felt like a celebrity because she got to see her younger siblings at school at both campuses. And the other kids joined in, and they all started talking, and you can see this tight group of kids. So they all start talking, and it became a big thing. So basically, I'm addressing the board as don't cancel it. You know, it's Senior Walk Day is something special. It's something that needs to continue. It's a tradition. I know in the recent history with COVID, everything's easy to cancel. Not sure why. This issue is being brought up, but it's something I want my daughter to, you know, go through and conclude that tradition as she's going to see my nieces at the schools. On a side note, I've never seen teachers, you know, address the school board with so many issues at Meadowlark. Normally, I'm so sorry, not Meadowlark, but High Desert. Normally, High Desert has always been, it's the crown jewel of this school district. It's always been the collective teachers that just go above and beyond to get those kids prepared for high school. So, not sure what's going on there, why, but please fix it. Thank you for hearing me. You know, thank you. I have a lot of pride for the school, the district, all the people in this community. So whatever we need to do, let's fix it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Okay, number 7, correspondence, proposals, and reports. Add a representative.
Anyways, Sheldon Sparks, Data Representative. It's good to see you guys. Welcome back. We've got a few weeks left. Not that any of us are counting down, but most of us are. Looking forward to it. I know this has been a very trying year, and I know we keep saying that. But the light's at the end of the tunnel, and as you can see, this is the fruit that we get to deal with and work with every day. So I'll echo what the board said. You are the reason why we're here. So appreciate each and every one of you. I wanted to give you just a side note. I'm the senior advisor too. I play many roles. I have no horse in the race. That is a impactful thing.
Time's up, sorry.
I'm sorry. Good night. Thank you. It is impactful, so I'll just leave it at that. That's my 2 cents, so whatever. We've had, first I would like to say thank you. Thank you to the community as well. I do believe that we've reached an agreement, and I do believe that the district came to us and offered us a fair proposal. Thank you. I know that was part of your ongoing too, was part of your influence as well. Ada has had a very trying year, as you hear a lot of times that we do a lot of complaining. We feel underpaid, we feel underappreciated, but sometimes money in the pocket does make at least feel like, okay, they do want to invest in staff. And so as union president, I just want to say thank you very much. We appreciate the good faith. I do believe it was a win-win bargain for both of us. Kim and Hassan, thank you so very much. You have worked with us. You have listened to us. We have disagreed on 1,000 different things, but each time you come back with good faith and you've treated us with respect. And so I know we don't always see eye to eye, but Aadusd says thank you very much for partnering, and that's all we've ever wanted, and we've definitely done that. Having said the good, we are still facing some trials, right? Good, bad, and the ugly. The students that we have in our classrooms right now are deficient. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to start seeing that, continue to see that for 4 or 5 more years. Eventually they'll start to catch up, especially those younger kids. But right now, if you look in our classrooms, if you see what's going on with our students, there's a lot of disconnect from the value of education. Why do we need teachers? We can just do this online. Why do I need to go to school? What's the value? I'm just going to go to work. I'm just going to go work for the studios. I'm just going to go work in construction. I don't need education. So that is the general consensus in the classrooms right now. If you go talk to our staff, we have staff meetings and whatnot, that's an issue that we're facing, and that's got to be nipped from here. We have to, as an organization, communicate why we're here. And we're here because of these people. We're here because we want to mentor these kids to be productive citizens when they get to adults. We want them to be successful. We want them to be healthy. We want them to give back to the community. And so I don't know right now if our youth believe that. And so just give me a sense. I'm a doctor sometimes. I'm telling you the temperature of the patient, and that's what we see in our classrooms. A huge disconnect between why the value of education and why should we go to school. The next thing is this is the time of year where we start looking at budgets and we start looking at, okay, how are we going to manage what we have next year? We only have a certain amount of money. We only have limited funds. How are we going to bring the service that we provide to our customers? I do believe in the last 2 years that teachers have communicated that we have cut to the bone. If we cut any more, man, I'm telling you, there will be repercussions to that. I'm not trying to hold you hostage. I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm just telling you the truth. We can't continue to offer the same level of services that we're offering if we reduce that. We've already shown that we are not good at it right now. It's been a trying year. And so if we cut even more, that's going to be an issue. And so I know this is the time of year where you guys make those decisions. I hope you've heard at it. And that's all I'll say about that. Last thing I'd like to say is a lot of times this job, this position, what we do is about building relationships. It's about letting people know that they're valued, letting people know that they're important, letting people know that we are all in this boat rowing in the same direction. I appreciate that you have been reaching out to Ada and meeting with me. We've met at 2 or 3 different times. We've had some difficult conversations, honest conversations, and I appreciate that. I think more of that will go a long way in the community. I think the community needs to see that you are a genuine human being and that you do have concern. A lot of times you are so polished, you are so professional, and I mean that I am not. And so I mean that in the most admirable way. But a lot of times people don't see that. So thank you for starting to build that relationship, and I look forward to working more with you. And finally, thank you for everybody who's come tonight. You guys are amazing. Teachers love working here, not because of the money. You can never pay us enough. But what we do is we build relationships with your families. We build relationships with you. And this is the most rewarding job I've ever been a part of. Thank you for allowing us to have a voice and to be a part of your students' lives. Thank you very much.
CSEA representative? Yeah. Student representative, Ms. Rudd.
For an update regarding the different schools, unfortunately I was not able to get an update regarding Metal Art, but I take full responsibility for that. I forgot to send an email to the principal this morning until it was pretty late, so that was my fault. And then, but Ms. Varnum got back to me in an update on High Desert. They have Career Day tomorrow, PBIS BMX show Tuesday to celebrate good citizenship, and the girls volleyball are silver league champs, and the boys are still playing. So just congratulations to girls volleyball. And then an update on Vasquez. Unfortunately, our spring sports just came to an end last week as baseball and softball both lost their first round of playoffs, although they did fight hard. As our school year is coming to a close, we're just finishing up our AP exams, and as it will have prom on Saturday, so that's exciting. And I'd also just like to say a thank you to all the teachers and staff that were able to actually make the school year I guess possible to be in person, because I know it's very hard for the teachers to go through this with the lack of support and just the criticism they face and just all other adversity, because teaching is a hard job and it's even harder at Vasquez. And so I want to say thank you to them, and then also thank you to just giving us the opportunity as students to take the AP exams, because I know that was also very stressful for a lot of our staff to go through. You know, trying to get all the students there at the same time, trying to make sure everybody knew the same schedule, and so just want to show appreciation for them for that. And that's all I have to say.
Superintendent, gold standard report, Dr. Zahakia.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. Before I begin, I don't know if we want to give our students an out from this board meeting, with all due respect to our trustees.
They have to say what they got to report to. They got homework. Yeah.
They have to take care of some business, I'm sure, but feel free.
Ladies, congratulations again. If you want to leave, that's fine.
And if you want to stay, you're more than welcome. Please.
Thank you and your families for coming. Thank you very much.
Don't lose those turns. Don't lose those. Thank you, partner. Appreciate it.
We have two brave students. Thank you for staying through. Before I begin the gold standard report, we have some community-minded announcements. So thank you to our community organizations for your information and ongoing support. First, Acton Women's Club will be awarding 4 Vasquez seniors with the Acton Women's Club Scholarship on May 18th. Acton Friends of the Library will be holding their annual book sale on May 14th and 15th at the Acton Library. Acton Agua Dulce Arts Council Young People's Art Show is back on June 6th at the Acton Library in the community room. Application deadline is May 13th, tomorrow. Applications are available on their website and at the Acton Library. And last but not least, Agua Dulce Women's Club will be offering scholarships to graduating high school seniors. Apply, complete the application packet by May 29th. And again, applications available on their website. And that again was Agua Dulce's Women's Club. So thank you for your information. Moving on to the superintendent report for the board meeting. This evening, I'll be covering the following initiatives: student achievement, effective instruction, community engagement, and utilization of fiscal capital. Student achievement. This past summer, Vasquez student Marina Costin was chosen to serve on FEMA's, short for Federal Emergency Management Agency, Youth Preparedness Council, Region 9, along with 14 other students from California and Guam. The group met via Zoom for several months and completed a project with a limited scope due to COVID restrictions, of course. The group received their recognition recently for serving on the council. Marina, our Vasquez student, was the only one from the Antelope Valley. She hopes to continue these efforts by contacting elected officials and local town councils in order to get more word out to young and the veterans about disaster preparedness, hoping to make updated pamphlets a reality. This is the first time a student in our district has participated in the FEMA Youth Preparedness Council since it began in 2012. So congratulations, Marina. We're proud of that accomplishment. Yes. Effective instruction and leadership. Just to echo what Mr. Sparks said about mentioning academic deficiencies, I want to give kudos to Ms. Shaw and her phenomenal TOSA team. They meet religiously every Monday. They plan out, they have some laughs, but it's all serious, and they have a laser-like focus. I can hear their laughs throughout the halls. So we need that once in a while. But their robust MTSS academic supports have been provided throughout the academic year because we knew we were coming into some challenges. For those of you watching our board meeting, there's a myriad of interventions, academic through the MTSS process, multiple tier systems of support. I'm only going to mention a few for this evening. Part of those supports include our SEL social emotional learning lessons embedded into weekly classroom lessons, SOAR literacy intervention at the elementary school, provided by a phenomenal TOSA, Ms. Palacios, math intervention and support at the middle school, Ms. Jana Largent, and yes, she's in the audience this evening. Yes, I believe so. She's here. Yes. Doesn't like too much attention, so yeah. She's right there. Once again, she's right over there to my right. Designated. Designated ELD English Language Development classes at all 3 sites. And this year, our EL TOSA and bilingual aides worked diligently to ensure that all EL students were tested through LPAC, English Language Proficiency Assessments for California, prior to spring break. That's a huge accomplishment, and congratulations to the wonderful TOSAs and Ed Services, and thank you, Ms. Shaw. Yes. With effective instruction, thank you, Alex, during the week of May 1st through May 7th, also known as National Teacher Appreciation Week, our school board and district office staff sent our heartfelt regards and thankful wishes to our phenomenal teachers for educating and guiding our children through this challenging year. We appreciate your dedication and hard work, and thank you for all that you do. In the spirit of teacher appreciation, we are presenting a wonderful plaque to our trustees this evening and community, which showcases our Teacher of the Year recipients starting from 1984 through present. We're looking to have this plaque, and I'll hold it up and I'll do my van a bit in a second, here at the boardroom for the community to see and enjoy and recognize the heartfelt efforts by our teachers. We appreciate past and present Teacher of the Year recipients. The LA County Teachers of the Year is an honors competition that spotlights teacher excellence and exemplary professionalism in public education. The competition is the largest of its kind in the state, and it is the oldest and most prestigious honor contest in the U.S. for public school teachers. And to show the plaque, here's the plaque, and we start with 1984 with Miss Reeves, and we end up with our wonderful Mrs. Chun for 2021 Teacher of the Year recipient by LACO. And this will be posted here and put up so that we could all enjoy it and recognize. So congratulations. Thank you for that. Community engagement. Our Shadow Day Collaborative works in unison with all of the 3 schools to provide opportunities for current and even potential families that might want to experience our district programs as well as athletics. On Thursday, May 5th, we held our second Shadow Day event where our 4th grade Meadowlark students and parents were invited to a high desert volleyball game, which was our immersion activity, along with an orientation by Principal Van Ornum on the many exciting programs at High Desert. We're excited to provide these opportunities to build and enhance relationships across all of our 3 schools. And this will continue in the fall 2022. So thank you to the Shadow Day Collaborative. Participants, you know who you are. We have a picture there, the Vasquez Library, with our 4th grade teacher, Principal Van Ornum, Ms. Moynihan, and parents and students that are interested in being a Hawk. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to go ahead and thank, as part of community engagement, the collaborative efforts by my office, to my right, my executive assistant, Ms. Yolanda McCauley. She did not know I was going to do this to her, but thank you, Yolanda. And our phenomenal IT team, Alex Verdosia and Cesar Ortiz. Yes. We deserve a round of applause and then some. For our new website enhancement, if some of you have checked out our new website, there has been some changes to the website to make it a little bit more appealing and engaging and more easily navigatable. Is that a word? User-friendly. User-friendly. Thank you. All right. I'm on the spot here, so please bear with me. Some of the new additions to the website are, I'm going to change mics, folks, so just bear with me. Testing. All right. We have new banners and landing pages on our website, which includes a new signature programs page to our district, as well as a new online enrollment feature for new and prospective families for this current semester, as well as for 22-23 school year. Since the revamping of the website, which was end of March, the new landing pages, as well as a new district Take the Next Step billboard, and traffic to our homepage, in particular to the online enrollment page, has grown significantly. We'll continue to track these efforts, and what you see on the screen right now, and thank you again to IT, is an algorithm that they provided me upon request to see some of the hits that we are taking in terms of traffic to the landing page for signature programs as well as online enrollment. And I do want to say, since late March to early May, we have 25 new students in the district. And whether we could attribute that to our wonderful programs and our wonderful teachers, or to the billboard, or to our user-friendly website, it takes a collaborative team to put this all together. So I want to thank everybody who has had a hand in this, and that's the entire district. So thank you for that. Next one, utilization of fiscal capital. On April 11th, the CDE released K-12 public school enrollment data for 21-22 academic year. The reason why I put this in here, folks, is we have a presentation this evening from Davis Demographics. They'll be providing a formal report back to us that was approved back in the fall by our trustees. We have a formal report to us tonight to talk about short-term projections in terms of enrollment, as well as long-term projections for our district. I want to report, as part of utilization of fiscal capital, this is statewide enrollment. Statewide enrollment is down from 6,000 approximately from the previous year to 6 million, forgive me, from the previous academic year to about 5.8 million for this current school year. That's a decrease of more than 110,000 students, 1% prior from the previous year. So not only is our district facing declining enrollment, but this is something that the state is actually facing. So we look forward to the Davis Demographic report this evening. And this concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen.
7E, COVID-19 report. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you. The COVID-19 cases across LA County are beginning to rise, folks. In Acton and Agua Dulce surrounding areas, there have been 9 new cases just this past week. In our school community, we had 1 exposure incident last week. Our district health team conducted 49 PCR tests last week, and none of those tests were positive, fortunately. We're in the process of transitioning from color PCR tests to Haluna Health Rapid Antigen testing. We expect this transition to be fully running in approximately 2 weeks. Our last enhanced clinic of the year, health clinic, will be next Tuesday from 2 to 5 at the district offices right here. They'll be offering many vaccines, health screenings, and helping people sign up for any social safety net programs they may need. Our next health clinic will be arranged for the beginning of the next school year. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
7F, submissions. Dr. Zahaki.
At this time, Mr. Jorgensen, no submissions.
No submissions. Thank you. 8, board member comments. Ms. Kelly Jensen.
Thank you. I have all kinds of notes, so I hope I can keep my thoughts going. First of all, once again, thanks to our sports team and all of our coaches, and I didn't recognize Salcedo, DeHammer, and now Coach Comstock, so I didn't know about that one. So congratulations. I have the, well, first of all, Haley, thank you for your comments this evening. I heard you say a couple great things, but a couple of things I want to point out is that you took ownership for something, which I thought was fantastic as you're starting to grow into an adult, so I thought that was great. But you mentioned the AP exams. So I just want to recognize, as we're talking about teacher stress level and everything that's happening, for those teachers that have worked so hard, as well as our students, to be able to do that. I know that's when you have so much love for your students, you want to make sure they do well. That's a lot of stress for our teachers, and I just want to recognize as much as our students, our teachers as well, that have taught you and want you to do so well, and they're rooting for you. So I want to recognize that as well. So thank you for recognizing them. I'm really excited to see the billboard. This is something that we talked about way back when we talked about the strategic plan and how we have to brand our schools. It's not like it used to be back in the day when you just moved into a neighborhood, you went to school. There's lots of choices now. It's not like you have to go to a school because you live in a neighborhood. So that we wanted to recognize our district, all the great things that we have here. There's still people that see our little high school and they wonder what the heck it is. So I think that billboard will help us, and it looks like it has. So I just think it's fantastic. So thank you to the team that finally made that happen. So frustrating when you talk about what you think is a great idea and then nothing ever happens. So finally that got up there. So I'm very grateful for that. So, and I want to make sure that we continue to come back around and look at our strategic plan. We've talked about things that we need and things that needs to be a little bit updated with COVID and stuff. I understand we could have, meetings with our community, but when we're talking about bringing our community back together, I think that's one way we can do it and have one common goal and one way to go. And you brought that up as well this evening. So thank you. Last Friday, I had the pleasure of going into classrooms with Mr. Jorgensen. We went and visited classrooms. So I usually don't like to call anyone out, but Ms. Selford, I'm going to call you out because I think I try to understand, and I'm going to be very honest here. As you know, in my profession, I'm an educator, and I'm at the district level now. And my job is to help with, curriculum and instruction. And you hear about how tired teachers are, but I have to say that I'm not living that. It's a different thing. So I just, first of all, want to recognize teachers, and I want everyone to know, it doesn't matter if you're in this district or where you are, it's real stress for teachers right now. And I want people to understand, students, parents, community members, that there is a lot of stress and a lot of things right now. People are going out with COVID, coming in with COVID. You have your 30 kids and you have 18 kids, and you have some coming back and you're like, what did you miss? How do I have to catch you up? And now you're out, now how do I catch you up? And this has just been going on, and teacher shortages and sub shortages. And but yet you're resilient. I'm going to tell you why, because you didn't skip a beat. And I have a pretty good eye for what's happening in classrooms. I go in several. I've been in hundreds of classrooms. I have that great honor of being in classrooms. When you're a teacher, you don't get to go and see everyone. You just kind of think things are happening, and then you see lots of great things happening. You didn't skip a beat. You were upbeat. You were on your feet. Your kids you have a great feel in your classroom. So I just want to recognize that although you're tired, you fake it very well, and I appreciate that. Because you are there for your students. That was obvious that you were not going to let them know how tired you were, because you were really upbeat and really there for your students. So I just want to recognize that. And I usually don't do that, but I just want to tell you thank you very much, because I know it's hard. I haven't experienced it, but I have been in classrooms, and I'm hearing that from everyone. When I was at your school, Michelle was talking about subs being down. My phone was blowing up that day, and Dr. Saka can tell you, we were down 7, 8 subs at one of our schools. They were asking me to come and sub. So we do go and sub as well, because it's crazy. And unless you're living it, you have people that are getting kids in classrooms, and you have your classroom, and you have a failed sub, so you got to split classrooms, and you're just sort of on this kind of rolling this together mode. And it's okay for a couple of days, when it's day after day after day after day, and you're on day 180, and it's been happening for 150, you're exhausted. So I want to just appreciate all of our teachers. And if our community is listening right now, please reach out to a teacher and express your gratitude for them, because this is not a profession you do for money, obviously. This is something you do because it's just something you're called to do. And sometimes you get really tired. So thank you to all of our teachers that are here. I also want to recognize our high school, because I've also been a principal, and there's nothing worse when board members show up and you're super busy and they want to walk around and see every classroom. You're like, sure. And instead you're like, oh my gosh, I got so much to do. When are you leaving? So thank you for taking us around. But I want to recognize our counselors, because I want to tell you what I saw there. I saw great things everywhere. So it's not, if I don't mention you, I didn't see great things. But our counselors were all talking about our students, and they knew what they needed, and they were making sure they were on track. And they were collaborating. First of all, I want to stay in there because it's an awesome room. I just want to kick back and want to take a nap. Our teachers need to be in that room too, the ones that are tired. They need to go and get some social emotional love in there as well. But they were talking about kids, what about this one? What about this one? And just the love they have for our students. And I just want to thank you and recognize that I saw the great collaboration going on. So thank you for that as well. So despite and how tired we are and how hard it's been, I think my word tonight is resilience, whether it's the kids, the parents, the teachers, the counselors, our staff. It's hard at the district office too, because they're not eating bonbons and doing nothing as well. So sometimes it feels like that on the other side, like we're not getting enough help here because everybody's hanging on and we all have different things happening with COVID and things that are happening. It's not an easy time to be in education right now because we do it, but we're resilient. And so I know sometimes it feels like we're going to poop out, but so we do it for the kids because we love our kids and we want them to be successful human beings. And years ago, we used to only have to worry about the academics. And that's just a small piece of everything we're doing now because we have the social emotional piece and all that we're worrying about. So thank you everyone for everything you've done. This is a great district. I'm proud to see that billboard out there to tell our community and people that are driving down the freeway that this is a great place to be, great place to live, a great place to bring kids. I've said it a million times and I'm saying till I'm blue in the face. I brought my kids to this district. I am an educator. I've been in lots of classrooms all up and down the state. I would still bring my kids to Acton Okotoks in a heartbeat. So thank you for everything you guys do, and I appreciate you.
Mr. Falsgrove.
GoPro's on. Let's give it something to talk about. Guys, I want to preface my statement tonight by telling you I have been in this room for 10 years. I used to be the one that was out there being the hellraiser, calling people accountability, y'all remember. And then I got elected to be up here. I'm not up here for a popularity contest because that makes Christmas really expensive for me. I'm a numbers dude, and I look at what is happening and what is measurable. I don't look at emotions too much. Like, who's the champion, girls? Yeah, that's right, you are. I don't know anything else in that. Pull up slide 14, please. While we're doing that, I want to thank the local civic groups for their contributions to our sites. They have yard sales, they do all kinds of things, and they give out scholarships. And if it wasn't for some of those scholarships, you wouldn't have kids headed off to wherever they're going. I think a scholarship can be used for college. I think it can be used for a trade school. I think it can be used anything for your future. I'm glad you all stayed because I got a message that's going to pertain to you. I still go to college. I go to law class every Wednesday night. And I see kids that are slightly older than you. And I don't think that they understand that their future is right in their hand. And the world has just given you whatever is thrown at you. And 1 minute it's okay to go on a computer and Google your answer, and then the next minute that's called cheating. So you guys, I think what adults have to do for you guys is learning relevant to you, and that means, can I get a job? Can I make a living at that job? And can I find some level of happiness doing that so I'm not miserable? You know, adults are pretty miserable out there to tell you what their problems, you know what I'm talking about. So here's what I want to tell you. There are so many thousands and probably 1 million different offerings. If you decide what is it that I want to do, that I just love to do, that someone would pay me to do, and I can be happy and I can get motivated. So get on the computer, type in what it is you want to do. Don't make it grow house, okay? but try to make it legal. You know, if you're an attorney, it's okay. You won't have any human characteristics when you're done. It's okay. You can make money. But what I'm telling you is find out this summer what it is you can get on the internet. Maybe you can go to a school, maybe you can go to a camp. There's all kinds of stuff ranging from free to how much ever you can con your parents into spending. My kid decided she wanted to go to Stanford law school at 15 years old and go through some kind of something, and she figured out right then I'm too much of a person to be a courtroom attorney. So now she's like figuring out how to figure out whose notes came from what song into something else, and I think she's going to make enough money. But right now, if you're going to lay on your parents' couch and think that playing that video game is going to make you a gaming person, America's littered with millions of 30-year-olds still living on their parents' couch. So, look, what is it you want to do? Forget what the adults are telling you. What is it that you want to do? And invest in your future. Don't let your future come to you, because one day you're just sitting there and your future is based on forks in the road that you're forced to make a choice. My life is littered with that. Oil field, who knows what. But get ahead of your future and invest in yourself. And ask the question of adults, how is this relevant to me? How can I use this later? Last tip with old people, learn their stories and buzz phrases. Throw out penny saved, penny earned. They all open up the door. Yeah, that kid right there is smart. So learn the stuff buzz and old people say. I would like to thank staff. When I was out there, do you know what CTE meant? It meant a charter that was being fired up by former employees. Going to put a welding truck in Vasquez and take the money and put it in their own pocket. That was career technical something or other. It was nothing but a buzz phrase. Okay, look at this list. I can't even read that list. But here's some other buzz phrases I've heard. EL. Has this district ever? Turn in here. Good. Turn your TV off. Has this district ever been compliant with the EL program until right now? No one's answering. That means answers. No. Okay. I am very proud of that. Very proud of that, but that's not showy at all. How we doing with the SPED program? It's going to get there too. But the bottom line is, when you see these things, this is all. Hi, Kim Shaw. Do you know Kim Shaw?
I know Kim Shaw.
When you don't, let me know. And Kim Shaw and her team of TOSAs have worked very hard to focus and get these things done. These are current things that are happening. Can you grasp what that means to education? I don't care if it's popular or not. If you don't have these things, you are not compliant with the state. You are not a good school. I'm sorry. This is the things I look at. I'll tell you what. This district, somebody get to the main webpage, please. Look at signature program, scan down. You see those? What is the second one about? Click on it. Look at all this stuff. This is all new stuff. This is stuff Kim and Tosas have been working on for years, last couple of years. They don't run around and, hey, I'm gonna, how many ominous do you know? This is stuff that's happening. So when people come to the district website now, they click on this stuff. Why is our school different? This is why it's different. I don't know how other people are measuring anything, but you've got basic compliance issues that I've been fighting for years to get somebody to do something about. I work in Beverly Hills, California. I've been there 20 years. I left doing commercials about burial plans or something. Anyway, back to this. Get back to this. All of those things, when you click on them, they take you to somewhere that's about your future, whether you are going to be a tradesperson, whether you're going to be a scholar. Hey, I got a brilliant idea. Why don't you go make your own money by learning a trade and then put yourself through college so you don't have your parents sitting around going, I put you through college. You did not. I earned it myself. Okay. This is what's going on in the district. I have watched this district teeter on financial hardship and then chase some illegal scam charter thing down the road that put us up here writing checks of your money back to the court. That's embarrassing to me. Now we're here. And I'm going to tell you why you can hear anything you want, but here's the map. Get a pen, I'll get a calculator. Until this district can attract enough students to earn the money that is ADA, you know what average daily attendance is? Each one of you is worth money. So parents, if you're young, you need to bring me more kids, and I don't know how you do it, just do it. Because I get 10,000 for every newborn. And until we have enough kids to be self-sufficient in our own ADA and stop looking for shortcuts, and that billboard and these kind of things are getting here, just because these people aren't over here running their mouth and telling you what they are all the time, doesn't mean that this is the most significant thing I've seen in my entire 10 years of doing whatever it is I'm trying to do up here. So staff. One speeches I'll be done in December. I want to talk to something about very serious. Who knows who Anthony Aadusd was? Yeah, he was some boy that was beaten to death in Lancaster. So I saw TV. I don't watch news much anymore. I like to make my own. But the County of Los Angeles has reached a settlement with the family pending the Board of Supervisors' approval of $32 million. The DCFS, people who watch out for foster kids and kids that are in trouble, is taking huge, heavy criticism. That organization has, over the past few years, subcontracted out to other agencies because I guess pensions are too high or something, so you start subbing out work. You start putting people on. Who gets into social work? Tell me that the people who get into social work don't try to help people. Tell me the people who get into special education aren't there to help other people. It's the administration that screws all that up. Right? The social worker that was assigned to this little boy's case had been removed from another case where there was a death. How many do we have to figure out there's something wrong here? How much is $32 million? And where does the money come from? It comes from taxpayers, is where it comes from. $32 million is this district's budget, the whole budget for 2.5 years. It is the ADA on 3,200 kids. Imagine 3,200 kids coming in here tomorrow. Hope that billboard's lit up at night. Listen to this one. I'm talking to you two now. It is 520 kids graduating from Vasquez High School and being handed a full ride scholarship for 4 years to UCLA. Imagine that. And worse yet, an average salary of $74,396 per year. It is 430 social workers that would help kids like this, all out the window in one shot. So law students, if you ever study law, they will tell you that these cases are important, short of the attorney taking money. If I was that attorney, I would take a dime for this. But it promotes legislation because the public is so abhorred by this type of thing that they say, no, this can't go on anymore to promote social change. But while I was watching this news conference, they had a picture of the boy, and he was holding up a piece of paper, and he was all proud of that piece of paper, you could tell. But it said the Lancaster School District. So for 5 minutes, everybody watching that show has it embedded in the back of their head that the Lancaster School District has something to do with what the attorney's talking about. I find that horrendous. I don't want to little kid out in the hallway, you all know Tammy? Little Tammy? When you see a little kid outside on the playground crying, or sitting at their desk alone in the hallway crying, don't walk by that. If you hear an adult yelling at a child in another room, you knock on the door. When you go home at night and you hear screaming in the background somewhere out in the Acton night, you call the police. Because these kids have lived through this, you know what happens to them? They lack human empathy. Our prisons are full of people who should have never been there because one person didn't stand up at a critical moment in their life. So I'm sorry I went on. The counselors, you people doing remedial work, there's nothing but for a kid that has no hope to all of a sudden understand, wait a minute, I got this. And this person right here gave me the ability to see that I'm a valuable person. So thank you for everything you all do.
Mr. Falscraft is always a hard act to follow, but I think that tonight is going to be especially hard. My first comments is to address comments made not only at this board meeting, but past board meetings by district personnel, by teachers. We are aware that district morale is down. And we are aware that there is a ton of work in our district that needs so much work. My comments to not only everybody that spoke up tonight, but to everybody else that is afraid to speak up or afraid to say anything. So my comments are to you, please don't stop letting the board know what's going on. When I was a classified employee, I felt like my school and my office was disconnected from the district office, and I felt that the district as a whole was disconnected from the board. I've been on the board for a little less than a year now, and I don't feel any different. I do feel that there is still a huge disconnect from the schools to the district, from the district to the board. So my comments are, don't stop letting us know. Don't be afraid to send an email. Don't be afraid of getting in trouble. Don't be afraid of us thinking one way or the other about you personally. We need to know what's going on out in the district. The district office needs to know what's going on. If we can all get on the same page and get a clear direction of where we need to go, that's when things are going to start to change. But when you're sitting in your office or we're sitting in a classroom and you're afraid to say anything and you just gripe to the person next door or to the person that walks in, and then everybody, that snowballs, that's not where change happens. So I really, really, really appreciate everybody that is writing emails and standing at the podium and letting us know what exactly is going on. When it all gets out in the open, that's when change can happen. So huge thank you for having the guts, and I know it's scary sometimes, for having the guts to speak up and speak out and let us know about the good and the bad, because we do love hearing the good things as well. So that said, really quick, Eleonora, I apologize that we had to stop on time. That is for fairness, and that is the policy, but I appreciate what you had to say, and please, if you had anything else that you didn't get to say, feel free to know. So apologize for getting cut off due to that time limit policy. One of my, I don't even know if it's one of my favorite things. I think my favorite part of coming physically to board meetings is walking out of closed session and seeing a full audience. Whether it's good or bad, it hasn't always been a whole entire team of champions. Sometimes it's very, very different. But either way, I appreciate when I come out, when we come out of closed session and I see a full audience. because I know that's when people are coming to engage. And that's where the change happens. So thank you to everybody that came, that continues to come, and that have visited a board meeting in the past. We need that. So keep doing it. Keep it up. So thank you very much. There's a ton of events coming up in our community and in our schools, winding down the school year with all kinds of celebrations, awards, and different shows, ASMO and handbells. I'm very, very excited to attend all that I can. I'm excited to see our students celebrated. So I'm just looking forward to all of that. And my last comments I will make are about High Desert's champions. Those girls, all the games that we watched today were absolutely phenomenal. Those girls played hard. I believe it's their first time even making it to the playoffs, right? And they came out winners. So huge congratulations to those girls. I've heard that the boys, they made it, they won their first round of the semifinals, and then they came just short, but I heard it was a fantastic game. So they are second place. So good job, boys, good job, girls. Our sports are at High Desert are just on fire. So from soccer to basketball, now volleyball, and Michelle's track coming up next. We're getting ready for track, right? And I'm sure we're going to just be amazing at that too. Our kids are really, really awesome. I think they came out of COVID just ready to play, hit the ground running. So congratulations, kids, congratulations, families, congratulations to our coaches and staff that make all that happen. I will say, working out there and then being able to say, I need the afternoon off because my team is playing. I mean, my team, and they're both playing, and I am wearing a shirt of both champions today. So, but to be able to come out to our gorgeous Vasquez gym and watch these, I feel like I'm home, and they're all coming. All my friends and my kids at SOAR are all coming out to my house. So I'm very proud that we get to host all of our championships. So I don't know who made that happen or why it happened, but it's very exciting. So I'll end it on a good note. Congratulations, High Desert.
Good evening. I'll get my comments short. Congratulations to Ada for you guys coming up to a good agreement and everybody finding a fair deal in this mess. It's a tough time. I feel for you teachers. I feel for the staff. I wish we could snap our fingers and just fill our schools with teachers and lower our class sizes. And I know that's everybody's intention up here would love to make those changes. And don't think for a minute we're not talking about it and we're not thinking about it and figuring out how to make it better for you guys. I find it really disheartening when I have teaching staff standing in front of me, borderline being in tears, and another one on Zoom in tears. There's no reason for it. Last board meeting, I kind of touched on this disconnect between our faculty and our district office, and I'll keep beating this drum until it changes, but I can't for the life of me understand why we haven't figured out how to connect, how to bring everybody together and have relationships. You can give somebody all the money in the world, but if you have no relationship with your superiors or your underlings, you have nothing. True leadership comes from connecting with people. You have to find out how to connect with one another. And it goes both ways. It's a two-way street. Staff needs to learn how to talk to the upper echelon. The upper echelon needs to come down and talk to the staff. And if you can do that, we would have the best school district in the state. I mean, I say over and over again, we have the best public-private school in the county, definitely in Southern California, and it could be better. But for whatever reason, we have this disconnect at the district office. And then we have our own problems within the district office. And it's like, we're small. We're not a big district. We're not LA Unified. We're not Pasadena. We're not Baldwin Hills, or name a million other big districts. We're small. We're a small town. We're a small community. We all want to work together. We want to get in the trenches, help out how we can. But that starts with communication and building, let's say friendships, relationships, understanding trust from one another. So my message tonight, again, as it has been, let's come together. Let's figure out how to unite. Let's not sit up on the high chair or the low chair and point fingers, because every time we point our fingers, we've got 3 pointing back at me, as my father-in-law would tell me. Best line ever. So let's, I beg, like, let's figure out a way to bridge this gap. We have so many good things going on here. We have so many great programs, so many good teachers. We have an excellent superintendent. We have excellent assistant superintendents. We have excellent principals. Let's put it together and make the best school possible. Anyways, I appreciate you standing up in front of everybody tonight, talking, and I appreciate all of the faculty and staff within our district. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up here because a lot of comments have already been made by my fellow colleagues on the board, but I want to focus in on, because of my relationship with the district as 18 years as an instructor at the high school. First, I want to Miss Alfred, thank you for coming and addressing the board and bringing your heartfelt comments about you and your colleagues at High Desert. I echo with what Miss Jensen said when we came around. Compliments to you. We walked into your classroom. You had 3 strange adults. The kids are looking, and you did not miss a beat. You shifted gears. You were passing out laptops. You were explaining what was going on, and continued to be an instructor. Continued to be a leader with your students. They saw what you don't have to stop and ask, what do you want? No, it's that multitasking that you do, and that your colleagues, and Ms. Troussel, who's sitting right next to you, I know, I've known you both for many years, and I'm very complimentary of your hard work and sacrifice. So one of the things that I chafe at every time I hear it, not from within, but when I hear people outside of our community, outside of our educational community, outside of our school community talk about teachers not doing their job, I blow a gasket. I know that our teachers are doing an exceptional job with the challenges that they're confronted with, without a doubt. I doubt that all the time. I have nephews and nieces that are in education, what I'm very proud of, and I drill them just like I drill anybody else. How are you looking out for your students? Are you doing this? And all of them are from large school districts. I'm very proud that I finally beat my nephew up enough that I finally got him into going to be a substitute teacher. And his first call was after his first week, he said, my God, this is so cool, working with kids, working with making a difference during a challenging period. So I want to make sure that you understand, and that I will say it time and again, every opportunity I have, that there is nobody on this dais, nobody in this district office that does not appreciate the hard work and recognizes the hard work that you and your colleagues do at High Desert, at Meadowlark, and at Vasquez. Now, the leadership on each one of those sites have a challenging job, to be sure. I was dean of students for 4 years by myself with a principal who was off campus more than she was on campus. So the challenge is there, but it doesn't compare to what we've been going through with COVID and all of the lockdowns and the mandates and everybody from outside telling us what we had to do. But to be sure, you are appreciated, you are recognized, we support you. I push back every opportunity when I hear anybody say anything derogatory about any of our staff here. Teachers, classified, bus drivers, janitorial support staff. The only ones I don't really get anything on is the board members, because they're all right here. We all go back and debate it. But everybody else out there, you guys are the ones that are in the trenches working. And you, the teachers and the staff and the sites, are the ones that are digging the trenches. And they're maintaining those, and they're making sure that the students that traverse those are safe and getting the best opportunity that they can. I appreciate all of our staff responding to the needs of our students. It's an emotional toil on them, to be sure. You're not trained for it in all regards, but you do what needs to be done in that classroom. You have 22, 28, 30 kids, 15, 21, whatever the number may be, and you're able to respond just like you did when we walked in there, to move around and talk to each one of the kids, make sure that they were taken care of, and that you continue to do your job as you were assigned. And to you, I compliment you on that and make sure you pass that on to all your colleagues at High Desert. I'm appreciative of the upbeat news about COVID, if there can be such a thing, that we have only one exposure. So I'm hopeful that that continues as we move through the summer and go on to the winter, that we have this behind us so that our kids can learn from this tragic experience, and our parents and our families and our teachers can recover as best they can, as slow as it will be, that we can move forward to get back to normal. Evidence of that is in the athletics, the athletes that we're recognizing today, and the High Desert athletes over at volleyball today. The girls were absolutely exceptional. I'm sitting there, they wanted me to move from my seat at the end. I said, no, I'm sitting here where I can watch. This is exciting. You kids go sit someplace else. I'm sitting right here. So it was an exceptional challenge. Miss Van Ornum was there. I saw Miss Alfred there, and there was lots of parents. The place was full, and that's it should be. And so, you know, that's like I was saying earlier, the ambassadors for our district are our students and our student athletes. We let them get a good education. Our staff and teachers look out for them. Our coaches teach them and help them work through the challenges that they have, practice the rigors and study and the homework. And we get back to addressing what Coach Sparks was talking about. Well, I can just go do this on the computer. No, you can't. And we need to, as adults in the room, we need to convince them and say, you know what? You're going to go to college, you're going to take that class again because you don't have the competency, you don't have the structure and the foundation to move on. So we need to continue to educate them and converse with them at the appropriate discourse level that we know it's challenging, we're here to work with you, I'm on your team, we're all on the same team, we're going to do. Our counselors, as Ms. Jensen pointed out, are doing exceptional work with the challenges that they have, making sure that there's availability of our staff to respond to the students, the teachers in the classroom. I constantly remind myself, what would I be doing when I go home at night and I sit there and I want to go to sleep and I can't turn my brain off because I'm thinking about what would I be doing for my students if I was still back in the classroom now, when I know I hear my colleagues and former colleagues struggling with the challenges and the things, and here on the board and the frustration. And this is a frustrating experience, to be sure. A frustrating experience, to be sure. We see things that we want to do, and unfortunately, we can't move as fast as we would like to move. We see things that we need, but we can't afford it. We see things that we want to do, and there's a process that we have. It's like hurry up and walk backwards slowly. It's very frustrating, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that there is no active, I am not aware of any active conversation about cutting anybody, cutting staff. We are responding to, like what Mr. Fallscrest said, ADA, and do we have the financial resources to add to what we want to do? All of these programs that we saw on the form up here that Dr. Sahaki and then staff and everybody has put together with the help of TOSA and the teachers and the will of the students saying, hey, I'd like to do that. I want to do that. The college career courses that we can have and we can build, the makerspace. We have the program at the middle school, and now we're presenting one that we can capsulize that at the high school. These are things that we do as educators. As a retired teacher, no, I'm not rich, but I would never give up that job. I would never take anything I did in the last 18, 20 years and replace it. All the stuff, the world travels, everything I did is secondary by far to what I was doing when I was in the classroom and when I was coaching and when I was in the office and I was interacting with parents and students about making a difference. So teachers are the heroes, to be sure. Staff are the support. And I'm confused and I'm disappointed to continually hear these staff saying that there is some direction coming from district directly into the classroom. I don't understand that, because there's a buffer, and that's the site administrator between the classroom and the district office. The site administration to me is the one is the, hold on, wait, you can't go into my classroom. Come to me and I'll go into my classroom. I'll go to the classroom and then I'll bring it to you and bring it back forward. That's that teamwork that Mr. Wadsworth's talking about, where we all get on the same page. We all want to do the same thing. I go here because I need something paid. That's the guy. I don't go talk to anybody else. I go to that gentleman right over there when I want to get something paid, because I know that's the efficiency route. If something I need from my classroom, I go to my department chair, I go to my site administrator, and I lobby and I lobby and I lobby until I get it. And then I expect my site, my leadership on the site to come down here and bang on the table. Where do I need this? Where do I need this? And we're all working collaborative. It's a difficult challenge. There are no simple and easy answers. I lay awake many times, and I'm retired, but I sit there and I think every time I sit on my porch and I'm reading and I'm thinking, okay, now what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? I'm always thinking, what can we do? Working with coaches to better the program, talking to Mr. Hassan, how can we help with the kids? What can we do here? Talking to Dr. Sahakian, what can we do about this? Talking to my colleagues when I see them around town or when I visit on site. When I don't ask you questions when I'm on site, I can assure you my brain is going 10,000 miles an hour. What do we do? What can we do about this cost? What do we need to do here? I'm always thinking in that mode because I'm an educator first. This is a secondary job for me, but it's this is frustrating. You have the enjoyable job, as hard as it may seem. You have the job that is most rewarding. You have the job that has the greatest impact. You have the job that people want. When I work part-time for Cal State Northridge, mentoring potential teachers. And as I've spoken to Dr. Zahaki on numerous occasions, when I have a good candidate, I'm pounding, hey, get your head joint, come on, get your head joint. Went out and recruited our English teacher that's going to be starting in the fall. I said, no, you got to apply here. I am constantly recruiting for this district everywhere I go, each person I talk to. When I see a candidate that's positive, engaging, vibrant, got some growth, wants to be a part of something making a difference, I'm pressing them to come to work here because I know I have good staff here, I have good teachers here, I have good sites here. I have programs that are going to give the kids the opportunity to do what they want to do when they get out of high school, whether they're going to go into the military service, go into career jobs, or go into college. So I go on, and I will continue to say I am extremely proud of all the teachers in this district, from Meadowlark all the way through the high school. I'm proud of the administrators, but I'm not going to lower the bar to make everybody feel good. I'm going to keep pressing, keep doing your job, know that you're appreciated, keep working through that. It's another bump in the road that we're going to get through. Everybody here is pressing this gentleman here to get things done. This gentleman's talking to that person. We walk right around the line to try to get things done as best as we can. Heard comments about a PE teacher at the middle school. Yes. So there's my comment on that. I've already talked about that, and I have a good candidate at Cal State. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just going to close. It's been a challenging 2 years. Hopefully, we're at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully, in another month, we'll have the end of year celebrations, the accomplishments that you did produce for your students, that they will recognize that they've weathered the storm, that we can get back to task, that get off the computer, get back in the classroom, raise my hand, debate, argue with my teacher about a particular topic or content, and give them the value of being in the classroom and socializing with their peers in the classroom. I'm hopeful that the hard work that you and all of your colleagues and the patience that our parents have provided us, which has been enormous and very appreciative, that by the end of this school year, and we get ready to open up in the fall of 2022, that the students will be coming back. I'm hopeful these 25 new students, where they're coming from, I don't care. I met a student that was from Montana. Welcome aboard. That's the first thing I said to him. And then I wanted to say, did you come down here to thaw out or what? But it's fine, you know. But he's engaging with them, and those are things that we need to capitalize on. The gentleman back here that's been working with his kids in senior walk, I want to make sure that we do absolutely encourage that senior walk. I was a proud participant way back when. I'm sorry to hear that COVID maybe sidelined that, but I assure you that we're going to work hard to get that back on board, where our seniors get to go talk to the younger athletes at each one of our school sites in cooperation with the sites calendar. Going forward, thank you. It's just thank you. It's meaningless. It's a small word. It's just 2 words. Thank you. I can say it over and over again, but just please know that our respondents online and coming up here in person, that we hear what you say. We understand. We're working very diligently with. working with Dr. Zahakian to make sure that we get these programs as they materialize and the students recognize them and parents see these opportunities. Talk it up. When you go to Safeway, you go to Smart, but hey, that's kids. Yep, that road, keep right going down the road. Nope, keep going. It's around the bend, Pear Blossom Highway. It's on the left there. You'll see there's middle school and there's a high school. Yep, we got an elementary too. Bring them all down. Drop them off on your way down to the valley and pick them up on your way home. I don't care. You know, we have to make sure that we do that because we have that unique thing. The one last thing I want to say is that we're unique, but we are not different. We face the same challenges for staff as every other district in the state. Some districts with resources can go out and hire more people. They have more students. They have more ADA. We just can't do that. The sharp man with a pencil over here is doing an exceptional job, and he's giving us ideas about when and where we can do things, because we're asking him, can we do this? No. Can we do this? Well, and we'll get him to yes. We're working on it. So we're doing the best we can, but the biggest thing is, like what Mr. Fallsgrass said, is ADA drives our resources so that we can expand this. We're doing little things, 2 kids, 5 kids, 20 kids, 37 kids, 47 kids, whatever it is. Because before, when we were up around that 600 kids over at Vasquez High School, we're down to less than 300 now. So it's like, that's a huge change. So anyway, I'm going to end up, keep up the hard work, please. Continue to do what you do. You're doing exceptional work. Make sure that your colleagues at High Desert, Ms. Van Ornum at High Desert, Dr. Murphy over at Vasquez, Ms. Moynihan, is she here? No, Ms. Moynihan at Meadowlark. Just please make sure that we do appreciate your hard work at the sites and your staff. Make sure that they understand that. Okay, I'm winded out. Here we go.
President,
What?
I move that we extend the time period of the meeting till 11 p.m. We got a lot of business to flow through here.
We have a motion to second.
Second.
Call the question.
Or Jensen, aye.
Paul's graph aye.
Brianna Tex on the aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0. Oh, sorry, Chad.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Say yeah. I was trying to speed it up. You were sitting there kicking my chair. Hurry up there.
Consent calendar, I want to pull the warrant register.
Hold on just a second, Mr. Witt. So we have, 5-0. We'll extend the meeting to 11 p.m. All right, consent calendar. Approval of the consent calendar will include items 9B, 9C, and 9D. I have a motion to open, please.
Kelly Johnson.
I'll second.
Kelly and Mr. Fallsgraf. And Mr. Fallsgraf, you wanted to?
Yeah, I want to pull the warrant register. I have comment about page 8.
Warrant register.
8.
Any other board member discussion or alterations?
I think once I get my questions done, then we can group them all back together. You see, Cyber Reach Solutions, there was a correction that was not a mileage charge. Let's jump down to Department of Justice. The Department of Justice fingerprinting and onboarding new employees, is that correct?
Yes.
It's not for an Office of Administrative Hearing Special Education case that I won't name that's active right now, is that right?
No.
I'll watch for that
That's
one later, thanks. I'm done.
Any other further board member discussions? Call the question.
Kelly Johnson, aye.
Paul's graph aye.
Brianna Tex on the aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0 with, okay. 9B, minutes of the regular board meeting. Have motion to approve.
Motion.
Brianna?
Chad, second.
Chad? Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Johnson, aye.
Paul's graph aye.
Brianna Tex on the aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Carries 5-0. 9C, LA County Office of Education Positive Behavior Interventions and Support, PBIS Consulting and Training Services 2022-2023 school year agreement. Motion to discuss, motion to consider.
I'll motion.
Brianna,
Kelly Johnson, second.
Kelly, Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. Thank you to the MTSS teams at each and every one of our school sites for their diligent work and professional development with LACO. This action item is to continue these supports and services and professional development for the upcoming school year.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul's Graf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 9D, wait a minute. What am I looking at? I'm at the wrong one. This was 10.
Yeah, you're right.
But we already, that was all consent calendar. That's done. So we should be at 10A, Career Connections 2022-2023 Trade Electives Presentation. Dr. Zahaki.
Yes, thank you. We're looking into a possible launch of a trade elective for the fall 22 school schedule at Vasquez. The aim here is to provide continuity of career technical education, CTE for short, exposure and opportunities for our students through the scaffolding of innovative instruction. Makerspace at Meadowlark in the fall. Paxton Patterson, that's currently well underway. Thank you, Ms. Alfred, at High Desert. And Career Connections at Vasquez for the fall. Career Connections elective is an earn-as-you-learn apprenticeship approach as students learn in-demand construction skills. And we have Mr. Jeffrey Scott from Career Connections, all the way from Ontario, California, with us. So thank you, Mr. Scott, for your patience, and he has a presentation and Q&A with our board. So thank you for your patience this evening with us.
Well, good evening, board. Pleasure to be here.
So if you can move the mic closer to you, or you can hold it in your hand if it's easier, then that way it's closer to you, so it'll pick up. There we go.
We'll do that. Can you hear me
There
now?
we go. Thank you.
Awesome.
That's great.
So good evening, board. Thank you for allowing me to come and talk about our Career Connections program. First things first, I want to make sure that everyone knows that what we are is we're a pre-apprenticeship program. So the intent and purpose of the program is to prepare students for like that direct entry pathway into our registered apprenticeship program. And for those that don't know, the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters is AKA the Carpenters Union. So we're really proud to be able to give back to the schools and kind of work this program into the different CTE levels. So let me see. There it goes. So what Career Connections is, it's a comprehensive career apprenticeship curriculum for construction technology. So out of all the different CTE pathways that the state of California offers, we sit right in that building and construction trades pre-apprenticeship program under the residential and commercial construction pathway. So we are A through G approved curriculum for concentrator and capstone. So it can be a 2-year pathway. That's what we've seen most common nowadays. But it could absolutely be a 4-year pathway. It's really up to district what they envision for the program. It was developed by ourselves in-house. We didn't have somebody else develop this. So different union carpenters across the country, we get together and develop our apprenticeship curriculum. And this was derived from that. So it's coming directly from the men and women that are out there in the field, building America every single day. And then gentlemen and ladies that are outreach specialists for our council, we go out, we build these different projects. So that way, when we get into the classroom and we work with students, we have the opportunity to kind of have that head start of knowing where the sticking points are, where the plans, details, things like that. So we can work with instructors, we can work with mentorship with the students, really get them engaged. We don't want to be just a curriculum provider. We want to make sure that we're a partnership first and foremost. Just want to highlight the fact that we have a training center like 20 minutes away in Sylmar. So we'd love to have your students, even if the program never takes off, we'd love to make sure that they're aware of the different career opportunities and pathways that are out in the community. So our curriculum is comprised of 8 different textbooks. So these are kind of resources for the main portion of the program. Just from top left to bottom right, the One Trade Many Careers is really that soft skills component, really geared towards construction. What's it like to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive into work, be there an hour before start time? What goes into decision making? What goes into a good decision or bad decision? The safety component, because when you're working construction, a lot of times you're dealing with situations that are could be deadly if you're not careful. At the very minimum, losing fingers, things like that. going over to the math for the trades, I heard what was the athletic director's name? I'm sorry.
Mr. Sparks.
Mr. Sparks. He made a comment of, kids just want to go out to work. Well, I think it's funny when I get a student that's, I just want to pound nails. It's like, well, you know how much math is involved in construction? You got to know fractions. You got to know decimal conversions. If you don't know Pythagorean theorem, your walls are going to be as circle as the seal up there. So it's very important that we emphasize the importance of not just math and the formulas, but make it applicable. There's a lot of projects that students can do and exercises, so it makes math relevant. It goes from very simple remedial, whether it's a whole number, to some of the complex formulas that we use doing layout, things like that. The introduction to millwrighting is one of our craft components. So millwrights are like industrial mechanics that work on turbines, conveyor systems. A lot of the warehousing that is going up in Southern California, our millwrights are in there installing conveyor systems for a lot of those distribution centers, also the racking. So that's just one component of what we do. The welding component is always something that seems to be very big with school districts. Welders are in every craft that we do, from pile drivers and underwater welding that we do, to a lot of the infrastructure that's right down the road on all those bridges and high rises. So it's a key critical craft of what we do. But I always tell people that welding is a skill, not just a pathway. So it's always going to be attached to something that you do. It's definitely worthwhile investment. And this is what I call the meat and potatoes of our program. So you can kind of see it's a linear progression from Project Book 1 to Project Book 3, and there's a couple different types. But Project Book 1 is that very fundamental, introducing students to tools, tape measure, hand tools maybe for the first time, individual projects, right? That sense of accomplishment. Most of the projects in this are going to be something that you would relate to old school woodshop projects. But as you progress, you get more difficult and more into the construction trades. So Project Book 2 is kind of the second part of that first year component. You'll start to see some gable roof sheds, laying up trusses, things like that. Really focus on the collaborative group project type of works, because I don't know if any construction site or any project that was ever built by a single person. So making sure that students can collaboratively work together, communicate to build the structure. It's sometimes funny to watch. Well, I thought you said this. Well, no, the plans say this, right? So that's always a component of it. And then the capstones, Project Book 3 residential and Project Book 3 commercial. Residential teaches everything from dirt to doorknobs. And that's what we say as carpenters. We can do everything from dirt to doorknobs, foundation formwork, residential wall framing, trusses, stairs, all the way to doors, windows, and hardware. That's going to be in that component. The commercial component is really a big market for us. We do a lot of metal stud framing, drywall application, acoustical ceilings, and that's just a component that most people don't associate with carpenters, but we have such a wide scope of work that we cover. It's really important for us to expose students to that as early as possible, that this is something else that you can do as a carpenter. With our program, each student has the possibility to earn up to 3 or 4 different certificates throughout the program. So level 1 is obviously going to be the green, and you have level 2, level 3. What these are our tracking mechanisms. So students get an individual unique identifier number. So when they come to the apprenticeship at any point in time, we can give that information back to the district and say, hey, you had Johnny, graduating, now he's working for McCarthy Construction, building a community college or whatever the case may be. But not just that, we try to turn these into signing days, really student recognition events. So we take out swag, t-shirts, bring the whole banner, backdrop, lanyards like you got hanging on my pocket, and really make it so that students, they may not be choosing the college route, but it's no less important or less impactful of a decision in their life as what a college pathway could be. The learning management system, really what we saw with COVID was digital components of a program are not going to go away. We've really kind of hopped on that blended learning model. When COVID happened, this was something that our teachers could at least, work through the the challenges of distance learning, but they really found some value in bringing it back to the classroom, either in homework components or watching the different videos that are associated with the projects. Every project throughout the project's book series, there's an accompanying step-by-step video of pull your tape, mark this, cut this, and teachers really like that component of being able to say, hey, here's your project, you know, get as far as you can, come back to me when you're having an issue, and really encourage that critical thinking and trying to problem solve for themselves. Great thing about it is they can pull different components from all the project books. They're not, you know, stuck to just what's in the book. They can pull chapters out of each and kind of customize their lesson plan to what they do. So it's really flexible more than anything. And that's really what we pride ourselves on being. It's not revolutionary, but it's simple, it's effective, it's meat and potatoes. That's what we're about. Just to highlight for those that aren't aware of what apprenticeship is, and I know Dr. Suhakian kind of touched on it a little bit, but apprenticeship is an earn while you learn model. What apprentices do is they're going to work 90% of the time. They'll come train with us at our different training centers once for 1 week every quarter. That's during the apprenticeship. What we're trying to do with these pre-apprenticeship programs at the high school, the community college level, is really try to make sure that they have the skills that they need to survive. Our retention rate is pretty atrocious. It's probably the worst out of any program that we see. That's because people come in allured by the money that they can make and don't realize the technical skills that they need to have, the physicality sometimes of it, or the sacrifices that you have to make. And that's something that we really try to work with students on, is to, this is something you want to do, what are you doing to prepare yourself for that next step? And that's something that we are doing right now. I've been up since about 3 o'clock this morning, drive all over Southern California, giving out those certificates today. So really making sure that we have those conversations and being open and engaging with students. So with that being said, I will take any questions.
Did you have any board member comments?
I don't have any questions. Thank you very much. No, it's getting late. So thanks.
Absolutely.
Having come out of the work world, I've been around local 33 and operators 12. You know, this kind of thing stops at hazing, you know, that you bring in, you know, you're hazed and all this kind of thing. And what this means to me as a school board member, there was a period of time here where we had a lot of DSA issues that were not being addressed. Sometimes projects become costly because the efficiency of the workers is not that great. And I have an understanding that when I hire union people to do union work, I'm not going to have a bunch of non-compliance issues and stuff. So when you said that this, if it happens, it will happen. Right. You're going to put people to work out of our town. Thank you.
I just want to thank you for coming all the way out here. As a mom of kids, that my third one is a senior and getting ready to graduate in a couple weeks. And I have 2 other kids that graduated last year and the year before, and I feel like they really missed the boat on this. They could have, my boys especially, could have used this. So I am excited for all of our future students that are going to be able to take advantage of this. So thank you for coming all the way out and letting us know.
Thanks for being out here. I feel your pain. I was standing at the Burbank Freshman Center at 2:30 this morning. That's when my day started. I'll say that I graduated from Palmdale Highland High School before Vasquez was in place. And as a 17-year-old young man just down the street, my dad decided he was going to move back to the East Coast, and I was left to decide, well, what am I going to do? Well, long story short, the person he bought a home from owned a construction company. And Chad at 17 got in his truck and drove east to Columbia, South Carolina, where I met up with a guy I had no idea who he was, all on a commitment, verbal commitment from this gentleman. And I swung a hammer on a framing crew for 2 or 3 years and then moved on to more management type stuff. So I have a lot of appreciation for the trades. We have a big shortage in this country with blue-collar workers. I'm sure you are aware of Mike Rowe and his foundation and what he does. I follow that a lot. this could not be implemented soon enough within this district. You have 100% of my support, and having moved on from construction, I'm now a Teamster, union Teamster, and there's a lot of good things that come from the unions and the trades. So you have my blessing.
Well, I've got a really big, it's been 2 years getting somebody here to do this. Because I've been hammering this idea for a long time, because in the absence of elective opportunities for our students, a wood shop, a metal shop, to me, I went down and I toured with Mr. Maluski, toured your Silmar facility, where they were framing, and there were young people, and they're learning the trade with people guiding them through, and they were doing structural integrity, and they were alignment and angles, and they were talking math and numbers. And then over here, I said, what's this dirt area? They were doing foundation work, and so they weren't talking it, they were talking it, and they were doing it. And so there's a difference with that. I remember when I was dean of students that I would have Saturday school, and I'd say, leave your phones at home, we're working today. And I had to teach kids how to drive a wheelbarrow and how to throw a hammer around safely, eye protection, all these things, because we didn't have anything for them. They weren't learning this stuff. They were learning it through air. And options like this, where our students, because we have a significant number of students who are not going to go to University of Southern California. They're going to go right into the work, whether it be with their dad or like what Mr. Wadler said, hey, I got a verbal agreement, my kid's going to come work for you. Okay, well, they're going to go there with some background and knowledge. And my understanding is that when they complete this course, is that they will have these certificates that their potential employer, oh, wow, it just kind of pushes them to the front of the line when it comes to selection, because they know they've got a basic foundation understanding about safety factors, job safety, how to operate tools, all the different things. And there's so many variables that the students can choose from, men and women, girls and boys. And so that to me is just like cat's meow. You need to be back here in 2 weeks to have this superb doctor. Like we need to get this going for the fall, so that we can get our kids the opportunity to have a choice, because we have exceptional academic programs at our schools. We have the starter at the Makerspace at Metal Art. We have the Paxton Patterson at the middle school, which is talking about the design and talking about all this stuff. And now here they can put those things together where they can learn an angle, get in a math class, and throw a hammer and drive a wheelbarrow and do those things safely and earn some money for it, so they can go right out of work when they graduate. If they choose to go to work right away and take a year off, or they can go out and have some opportunities. One last comment was that at last year's graduation, we had selective opportunities for kids to come because of social distancing. And at the end, I walked out and I saw a truckload of my former students there. And I go, hey, how come you guys weren't at graduation? And they said, well, we're working. And I said, who are you working for? That's the next construction company. And I go, okay, what am I missing here? They were at the ground level. They were driving the wheelbarrows and doing the cleanup rather than up there doing the framing and being a part of the development. And I think one thing that was brought up to me when I toured your site down at Silmar is that there's an opportunity for us to create a workspace on the site of the campus where they can build something and they can walk around campuses. We're building that, a frame, a ticket booth of something, and then they take it down. But they can demonstrate to their peers that they're learning how to do all this stuff. And to me, that's the cat's meow, when you can have a student demonstrate what they've learned and everybody gets to see it. And this is physical stuff. One last comment. When we did the lights out at the football stadium, and this was on my knucklehead side, it had a tapered pole. At the bottom, it was 18 inches. At the top, it was 8 inches. And I said, how do I put this thing up straight? I have no clue. I was going looking for lasers, and one of the volunteers was a general contractor. And he goes, hold on a second. He walked over, got a piece of plywood, took out his 24-inch, got a couple of some tape and a razor. He measured, he put it on the side. He said, put that right there, and it'll be straight up and down. So he did the math on that piece of wood, and he's a general contractor. And he resolved it, so that's why those lights are up straight. So it wasn't me, it was him. Anyway, thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it. So make sure you don't fall asleep going home, because for once back there.
I've got a Red Bull in the car.
Oh, no, Red Bull. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, 10B, presentation paper education company presentation, Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, sir. I've seen firsthand in my former district the benefits of paper, especially at a time of remediation, academic remediation for students. With paper, students receive unlimited 24/7 one-on-one tutoring for all subjects delivered by a live educator through Paper's classroom with both English and Spanish based on need. Paper also provides students with essay review, where students could upload any piece of written work and receive an annotated version of their work within 24 hours. All student activity on paper is recorded, tracked, and made readily available for our students in terms of just reviewing and going back and learning even more. I want to thank Ms. Madison Brent for her patience this evening and her team, and they'll be presenting paper overview and perhaps a demo. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, and good evening, board members. Thank you so much for the introduction. You're making my job easy here tonight. But just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Madison. I'm a partnership manager at Paper Education. I've been with the company for about 2.5 years now, and I've worked very closely with a lot of our partner districts out in California. So the plan for my presentation would be to give a brief overview of who we are, what we do exactly, and how we support school districts. And then we'll hop into a live demonstration of the platform, and we'll leave some time for some questions and answers, a little Q&A. All right, so what I'll do is go ahead and share my screen over. Can everyone see? I'm not sure where I'm located in the room right now, but can everyone see my bright orange slide? Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. So, as I mentioned, we are the paper education company. So the ongoing joke is that we have absolutely nothing to do with Dunder Mifflin. We do not sell physical paper itself. What we do is provide an educational support system. So the mission behind the company is to deliver educational equity through personalized learning. So our co-founder and CEO, Phil Cutler, was a classroom teacher himself. He worked for a school district that had mostly affluent students, but had a percentage of students who lived below the poverty line. So what he saw were the students who had access to, private support, private tutoring, had all kinds of opportunities academically, whereas those other students who didn't have that access fell behind. So the mission since the start is truly rooted in our founder's story. He said, hey, I want to do something about this. Created the company 8 years ago, but from 8 years ago up until today, the mission has been and will always be to strive to create a level playing field for all students by providing each and every student that same access of support. So really elevating that baseline of support for each and every student. So how do we deliver on that mission? What do we do exactly? So each and every student that would have access to paper or have a paper license would then have access to our instant and unlimited 24/7 tutoring support through our chat-based platform in English, French, and Spanish. So we cover all core K-12 subjects in all 3 languages at a 24/7 capacity. So if I'm on the Vasquez soccer team and I'm winning all these games and I don't have time till later for my homework, I know my district has paper. I can go ahead and get that done later into the evening. If I have a job or a younger brother, younger sister to look after, you name it, your district has paper, the student can be supported wherever and whenever they need it. So alongside the live chat, we have something called our unlimited and annotated essay review piece. So like Dr. Shahakian said, so what students can do is actually upload any piece of written work. Doesn't have to just be an ELA essay. It can be a poem, a lab report, a college application. Upload that to our essay review piece and you'll get this reviewed and annotated. Next page here. So just a couple of our existing California paper partners. We are currently supporting about 2.2 million students across the US today. Our biggest footprint is definitely right in the state of California. So I've listed maybe just under 10 school districts here, but we're actually partnered with about 90 school districts in California. So Paramount, Monrovia, Irvine, Tustin, you name it. I can get you that exhaustive list, sorry. And if that makes sense for anyone, I can send that off just a little later. So a question we do get quite often is, okay, this sounds great, but what can we expect? So in terms of impact, we can't publicly disclose, hey, so-and-so district has this many students using it versus this many students using it because of student data privacy laws. But if, an assistant superintendent decides to tweet out some of their engagement, we can definitely share that with you. So what I've included here are 2 tweets from Dr. Ryan Smith over at Monrovia Unified. So Dr. Smith was actually a partner with us over at Paramount and then brought on paper when he became the superintendent over at Monrovia Unified. So they have about 3,000 of their students on the platform. And within the, I believe, first 10 days, they saw 1,000 tutoring sessions, 175 essays submitted. Fast forward to 8 weeks into the partnership, they're seeing 4,000 tutoring sessions, 1,100 essays reviewed. So those numbers that I always like to highlight is, hey, that's 4,000 sessions that your teachers aren't getting late night messages. It's probably sessions where parents might not be able to necessarily help your students, and they are, of course, most of the time before, after school, or at those odd hours where students aren't actually in the classroom. So last but not least, I'll share a quote by Superintendent McCormick over at Valverde Unified, a longtime partner of paper. So enabling all students to have access 24/7 to tutoring extends our ability to ensure more equitable access to learning, no matter the place or time of day. So what I'll do is just quickly hop onto a live session to show you what the student view would actually look like. So what you're seeing right now is the paper dashboard. So this is where your students would land each and every time they log on to paper. What we do is actually pull the courses they're taking from either Clever or ClassLink or whichever SIS your district uses to populate this with their actual course names and their actual teacher's names. So under these little tabs here is where they'd actually go get help for the courses they're taking currently. And then on the top right-hand side here is that essay review piece. So that's where they'd go and submit all those written pieces. So just for an example, let's use a math course. So if it's later into the evening, or like I said, I play sports, or my mom and dad can no longer help me with algebra because they can't remember how to do any type of math anymore. I know my district has paper. What I can do here is just click Ask a Tutor underneath my math course. Oop, a little loud noise there. And I'll be connected to a tutor pretty much right away. So right now I see that I've been connected with Michael, who can help me with Miss Johnson's math class. So what we see right now is the paper classroom. Looks a lot like iMessenger, looks a lot like all the apps that your students are probably using quite too often these days, but super simple. What students can do is type it out, use our interactive whiteboard, or send a photo or file directly into the chat. So Michael says, hey there, Maddie, how's it going? Just for the sake of time, I'm going to quickly just write out the question I want to get help with. So 35 equals 5x plus 5. First and foremost, like I said, I'm typing it out. Next, if I feel more comfortable drawing this out and showing my steps to my tutor, I can do it that way. So to keep to that same question, 35 equals 5x plus 5. I can draw this, send it directly into the chat, click directly on my photo, and actually show my next step. If I want to, do this in a different color, okay, my next step is -5, -5. Again, just for an example's sake, I'm going to see both my drawings on the top right here and see my step by step. And my tutor can also draw on that whiteboard. So last but not least, I'm going to greatly confuse Michael here, but just to show you the functionalities of the chat, the instant chat, I wanted to show you how you can send a photo or file directly into the chat. So if you have a screenshot of your homework, or if you're taking a photo of something you're working on directly in front of you, you can open that up directly into the chat. And this is what you'll see. So here's my photo I shared. I can actually use that whiteboard function and draw directly on here to work through that with my tutor. Whoops, please forgive my terrible drawing skills tonight. But typing it out, drawing it out, sending a photo or file, those are the ways your students can access that support. So I'm going to go ahead and end the session. I'll say I have to go, sorry. Feel terrible for our friend Michael here. We're ditching him quite early. I'll rate my session, say quick replies. Do you feel more confident? Yes, I'm starting to, and submit. So each and every time students end a session, they're going to be prompted to give some feedback about the tutor so that we can constantly monitor the quality of our tutors. So what we just did, 5 minutes of a math session, how our partnerships work is that we work on unlimited annual partnerships. So each and every student who does have a license or access to paper has unlimited access, no bank of minutes, no teachers allocating minutes or hours to specific students. Everyone has this at an unlimited capacity. So if you need help for 5 minutes or 13 hours, which is our record length of session, that is totally up to the student, and it's totally student initiated. So no, teachers creating scheduling for students, they have enough on their plates. It's truly student initiated. So next up, we have our essay review piece. Very simple. Students would just drop their file here. If I'm working on my Hamlet essay, I give my essay a title. What language do I want this reviewed in? What course does this correspond to? What are your teacher's instructions? This is an important one, so students can actually type it out or send in a photo or screenshot of the rubric the teachers might have on the student portal. And then any additional comments to the tutor, hey, working on an MLA formatting, can you have a peek at my citations? And then the students will be prompted to come back within a certain time frame, less than 24 hours always, but here we're seeing 12 hours. They click review my essay, comes back looking a little something like this. So same as the live session, we do take that Socratic approach to the essay review piece. It's never, this is what needs to be changed. It's giving feedback and suggestions to the students so they go ahead and fix it themselves. We bet that if students are uploading their essays, they do want to learn. So there's absolutely no learning involved if we're just giving them the answers. So let's run through a couple examples here. So this sentence could be better structured so it's more specific. Remember, your opening sentence summarizes and sets the mood for the rest of the paragraph. Okay, great. Over here, I see another highlight. It says spelling. It doesn't fix the spelling for me, but it'll say, hey, go ahead and have a look at that. You need to make some changes. Over here, we see a capitalization error, and so on and so forth. So students would just work through each and every highlight, make those adjustments, and that each and whoa, I'm losing my train of thought here, but yes?
Madison, really quickly, your screen is frozen for us.
Oh, is it? My screen is paused. How long have I been,
the past 15
did it just
minutes.
No. Please, no. Okay. So I'm seeing something here that says your screen sharing is paused. I don't know if that resume share. Essay is due on Friday. Teacher says, hey, everyone submit this to paper by Monday or Tuesday. Get this reviewed and annotated. First and foremost, we hope that supports your students, but if we can also help support your teachers along the way, get that rough draft or silly spelling errors out of the way, even better. So are we still seeing the essay right now? Or are we seeing my screen?
We're seeing the essay.
Okay, let's see if I can, here we go. All right, Are we seeing now the dashboard?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I'm not sure how that got lost, but that is the basic overview of the student dashboard. As I mentioned earlier, there is a teacher dashboard where teachers have insights to what their students are doing. They'll see all their student activity under their student tab here. So student name, sessions, essays they've done, the last time they were active, and if there's been any flags. So flags can be anything non-academic, or if students, ask for an answer repeatedly. But on a more serious note, if students say anything worrisome about harming themselves or harming others, we do have emergency procedures in place that'll mirror the emergency procedure at the district, so we can make a call if needed or just mirror that same process to make sure every single worrisome flag is taken seriously. Last but not least, the administrator dashboard. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the bird's eye view of the partnership. It's where you see your total usage over time, usage by day, by hour, by grade level, how many tutoring sessions and essays has your district had. So all the nitty-gritty data is readily available on the admin dashboard. So that is my quick tour of the dashboard. Please let me know if there are any questions.
Board member questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My takeaway on this is students have access to tutoring 24/7 and help arranging term papers and essays.
Correct.
That's the takeaway. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Thank you so much. That was really informative.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here so late. It was a great presentation.
Thank you very much.
So I get that the support that the students will get is in a tutoring format, regardless of content. Now, how will you know what subject matter each student has on that particular semester? Is that something that's front loaded so that they can only sign into like biology, science, social science, history, math?
So great question. There's, I guess, two tiers to this answer. So first, when we do roster your students, we tag the courses and course codes through Clever or ClassLink so that when the students see their dashboard, we've already tagged topics that are being covered within those specific courses. So if I click Biology 1 in grade 9, let's say, you're only ever going to be matched with a tutor by our algorithm that has Biology 1 as an aptitude, if that makes sense. And the second layer to this would be that we, like I mentioned earlier, we're never delivering direct instruction. So students aren't saying, hey, teach me biology, teach me this. It's, hey, this is my homework. Can you help me through this? They're always providing the content so the tutor knows what they're working with. If for any reason the tutor says, hey, I don't have this specific aptitude or the aptitude to tutor this subject, they're going to transfer them to an appropriate tutor.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.
Good night, thank you. 10C, Davis Demographics presentation. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. As we stated earlier, is short-term, long-term projections for the district. We have a formal report from Davis Demographics. I'll turn it over to Mr. Mirza. Thank you.
Yes, a few months back, you guys approved a demographic study for our school district, and tonight we have David Katz. Sorry, David, if I butchered your name, but just trying to go over the results with you guys tonight. So enjoy. Go ahead, take it away, David.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate you allowing me to do this virtually, and I'll try to go as quickly through this as possible. I know it's been a long night. I'm going to share my screen if it's okay with you. And looks like I'm able to. Bear with me a moment here. Trying to see how this. Sure. All right. Can you see the map on my screen? Someone could just acknowledge that.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little kind of behind the scenes on what we do. We've been doing what we do for over 30 years. I've been here all 30 years. We use what's called a GIS, or a Geographical Information System, to do our work, to do our forecasting. What you see here is the software. I'll be able to turn things on and off. But what a lot of you don't realize, if you're not familiar with GIS is almost everybody uses this skill or software every day. When you go into your phone, you punch in an address, it links up to the satellite to see the best travel time to be able to get there. That's GIS behind the scenes. You're mapping an address and connecting the dots, if you will. We use this basic software for public school districts. So you see here your district boundary, your 3 schools, your streets in there, and we go through a process that we call geocoding, where we map your students. So I literally turn on this little box here, and here's your students from last October.
We did the same thing for your previous 3 years. So we have 2020 students, dots. 2019, then we go back as about 3 to 4 years to look at the most recent trends. So we have that data mapped, we have your boundaries, you have your 3 schools. Obviously in your district, you have essentially the same boundary for all your schools, the district boundary. But we also go a little bit deeper or dive, and we break the district up into what we call study areas. And we give them unique numbers. These are not counts of kids, these are just identifying numbers. And so we break your district up by density as best we can, try to keep these areas to about 100 or less students, K-12 per area. So we do our forecasting with our software tools using these study areas or neighborhoods level. And then we have the ability in our software to combine all those study areas to form essentially the district-wide forecast that we do in our reports. We have other things available to us if need be. We could turn on, we have the parcels we get from the county. So every single parcel in your district, your zip codes. There's a whole list of items that we can add. And you see in the background here, we have not an aerial image, but we can add aerial imagery. This happens just to be kind of a topographic map. So that's the foundation we build for our clients, the data sets specific to their schools and their districts. Then we wrap it up into a report. And just to make sure, are you seeing my report now? Or are you still seeing the map?
Yes, the map.
You're still seeing the map only? All right, I'm going to have to kind of stop and start because when I move things around, things that was happening before, bear with me. Going to have to stop and start a few times here to show you. All right. So this is our report. Can you see the report now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. So this is what we shared with your district. We produced this about 3 or 4 months ago. I'll briefly walk you through some of our methodology, get you and sharing some of the forecast information as well. So we have an explanation about the factors that go in. One of them is looking at historical birth data. We look at current to October 21 student data as our foundation, our base. So those students are more or less born 5 years earlier. So we're able to look at this by zip code for anywhere in the state, but we took your most predominant zip codes and wanted to see what's going on now in the future and in the past with your birth counts. So everything essentially from the orange line down is used in our forecast. Everything above the orange line is there more for historical reference. And you can see that your region essentially peaked in terms of children being born in your area about 2007, which probably corresponded to your 2012 kindergarten class size. And then the numbers have kind of been dropping ever since. It went up a little bit this year, and again, you can kind of see that the numbers are staying about there, dropping down a little bit in the percentages in the future years. This is what we use kind of as our foundation for our future forecasts for kindergarten students as well. So that's birth data, folds into kindergarten information. We also then have another factor, forgive me scrolling through here, what we call mobility factors. And these are the students as they progress through the grades, what's been happening regularly in the last 3 or 4 years in your district as they progress kindergarten to first to second, and so on. Inside your district, there's been some declines. This represents about a little over 2% from K to 1 decline, almost 3% 1 to 2. But you gain back kids, again, I can't explain why, but this is kind of what's been happening the last 4 years, about 2.5% gain of kids between second and third, and so on. So you can kind of see it's kind of an up and down through the different grades. High school, these are typically the reddish ones. They are the ones that, they major dropout rates or whatnot, the high schools. And you can see it's just kind of up and down. That's based on the student data, those dots I showed you earlier on the screen. So those are trends, and we roll those forward to replicate the same kind of trends going forward in a 7 consecutive year forecast that we run for your district. So this is what we are calling the district summary report. Again, we run them all at the study area level, those 27 regions. This is a summary of all those 27 areas. So here's your historical data, your previous 3 years, your October 21 student data, and then these are your forecasts, okay? By grade grouping, and most importantly, as you all know, that the TK program is going to be ramping up to a full 12-month grade by 2025. So we've incorporated a model in our forecast to ramp that up as well. And then it kind of has a life of its own, like any other grade, full grade as you move on through the later years. So we have, you can look diagonally in your real numbers. These are the mobility factors I was talking about, some losing, some gaining as you move through diagonally. And again, those same patterns should be showing up in the grades here as well. Come down the bottom here, in a nutshell, we're looking at the district has lost probably about 150 students over the last 4 years. Some of it is obviously pandemic related. There's been a little bit of a rebound this year. There could be in other grades rebounds, but the way the numbers show, there's going to be a very slow but steady decline. We're anticipating about a 200 student decline TK-12 wise, pretty flat at the elementary. Most of that is also because of the ramp up of the TK program. You'll be getting more kids from there. And then as, again, those grades get smaller in those younger grades, they matriculate through the middle schools and into the high schools eventually. And that's kind of where we see the district going in the next, 7 years. This changes every year with the pandemic and a rebound. It's potential that this could go up some more. But right now, the trends in the last couple of years, this is kind of what we're seeing in your district. We have, again, a map in here and the report of those unique study areas. And in the back, we have for each of those numbered areas a forecast. Lastly, I want to share one other thing with you. And tell me if what you're seeing, if I need to refresh my screen, do you still see the report or do you see a dashboard?
We see a report.
Okay, sorry, gonna have to do it one more time and then I'll be done and answer questions for you. All right, can you see the dashboard now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you. We have a product that we call Aadusd. Essentially, it's a dashboard for our clients that you can get some general information on. It's not, if you have an annual contract with us, we can update it, but this is probably at least for the next 6 months or year. This happens to show some things about coronavirus impact, but it gives you some good socioeconomic information about your specific district area as well. You could scroll through, again, I won't spend much time on it, but this is specific to your district, your students, your breakdown by grades. This is a heat map that shows you, based on the students, where the highest concentration of students are in your district. Oh, let me scroll on down a little bit more. We do have some other information you might find interesting: median household income, median home value, racial breakdown of different parts of your district. We also have at the very top, again, I don't want to go through every single thing, but there's work we've done on a project, some data loading, our methodology, a little bit more explanation again for people to see that. There's some of the results of our forecast I shared in the report, just seeing it in a little different format. So I know it's late and I don't want to take up too much more time, but I'd like to spend some time to answer some questions if you have any there.
Board member discussion.
I don't have any questions. Thank you. I've read the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for providing a report that was comprehensive with the data. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
No questions for me. Thanks for being up late with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for hanging in there. I don't have any questions. There's a lot of numbers and things to look at for consideration. Appreciate the hard work. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck tonight. Thank you all for listening to me.
Thank you, David.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
10D, first reading, master plan for English learners, Acton Agua Dulce School District 2021-2022. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. Thank you to our DLAC committee for their efforts and their hard work, and of course our Ms. Jana Largent, our TOSA, with oversight of our EL master plan update. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Shah and Ms. Largent. Thank you.
Good evening, President Jorgensen and fellow board members. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share the EL master plan with you. And I had a few extra folks here, but they've gone home. So I want to make sure I introduce Paula Herrera and Hernandez. They're both bilingual aides that work with us at High Desert and Vasquez. But I'm going to introduce Gabby Graver. She's a bilingual aide at Meadowlark, and she's currently our special education preschool teacher. She's filling in for us. And I have Jana Largent, our district math TOSA and EL TOSA, and Tiffany Casada, who is our bilingual school counselor. She works at High Desert and Vasquez. So they're going to give you a brief overview of the EL plan because you all have a copy of the plan. So, Jana.
All right, so this year we got the privilege of taking the EL master plan that I think the last update was 2012 and going through it, and we spent some time really rewriting it completely. And then with the help of all the bilingual aides and parents and a few others, we have taken parts of it and just kind of really put it together. So you guys have it, but I'm just gonna go through it real quick. This year, Acton Agua Dulce was able to update the master EL plan, add bilingual staff to all sites, increase bilingual communication to family members, train bilingual aides to administer the LPAC testing. And we have, I know it said 100%, but we're technically at 98%. We have 2 kids we're still trying to get a hold of. We started one of them today, so we should be done by the end of the year, which will be awesome. And we began implementing ELD classes for our English learners at our school sites. So that's been really cool. At the beginning of the EL plan, we have district expectations, and the couple, they're up there, but the EL plan has 7 different sections to it, and we're not going to go through all 7, but as we reviewed it and changed it, we kept in mind these expectations for our students. We expect our English learners to improve at least 1 level in English proficiency each year and to reclassify within 5 years of enrolling in Acton School District. Part 1 looks at how we identify a student as EL, what assessments they would be given, and how we communicate this information with the families. In this section, you will find a chart that identifies who's responsible for each aspect of identification, assessment, classification, and notification at each site. We put in a flow. Part 2 looks at the instructional programs. For Meadowlark, that's a pullout, and Gabby's been working with that, which has been awesome. And then at High Desert and Vasquez, we've actually been able to implement a ELD class this semester. And we've been working with some curriculum from Nearpod with that. And we will continue to develop these classes at our sites. Part 3 looks at monitoring students and how we can monitor them, and it's a whole list of different ways we can monitor, but it takes all of us working together and making sure that we have access to everything in order to help our students continue to progress. Part 4 looks at the reclassification. There are 4 main criteria that we have to look at. The first one is that they get overall score of level 4 on the summative LPAC. The next one is the CAS, which we haven't taken in a few years, and so we kind of had to look at that in a different way over the last couple years, but we did take it this year. Criteria 3 is our teacher evaluation, which looks at their actual grade in their content areas as well as their GPA. And then criteria 4 is actually involving the parents or family members, and to make sure that they're on board with us reclassifying their student moving forward.
reclassified students are monitored 4 years after being redesignated as the identified marks. Part 5 discusses the testing English learners will take on their educational journey. And part 6 looks at what we need to do as a district to ensure that parts 1 through 5 are implemented to the best of our ability. Administrators at each site will work with their site support staff to ensure that implementation on ELD models for 7th through 12th grade models are in designated courses. For TK through 6th grade models are whole out. As a district, we are currently working on adopting curriculum for our English learners, and we are currently using Nearpod tools to support our students. We're exploring Nearpod and some of the course material we could use is Wonders, Study Sync, and Springboard, and we are looking on adopting materials for our English learners. Attached to the master plan are templates we will be using as a district to communicate with families, and all documents will be translated and posted on the district website after board approval. A lot of our forms have officially been translated, but once the plan is actually ready, we will send in the full document to be translated. And that is all we have for you tonight on the EL plan. And it is a first revision, so we're looking forward to see any updates that you would be.
We've adopted for benchmark, so I need you guys to dig that out too and look at that. So it did come with a designated ELD portion that's already purchased. It should have been. Awesome. So anyway, so just maybe just go back and check that out. If you don't like it and you think there's something better, that's fine, but it should have come, it comes with part of the adoption. That would be great. I'm happy to help you with that if you need some help with that, but it is part of the adoption. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your good work. It's nice to see that we have an EL plan. So I know I asked you some tough questions, and that's fine, but I really appreciate that we have a plan. So thank you so much. And thanks to our aide over here. Thank you so much.
So my questions are very simple. Anytime I have Title I things going on, SPED kids, speech, language pathology, all that kind of stuff, when kids are young, pullout isn't that bad. But as you get older, there goes dummy. The biggest issue I have is school lunch programs because we can't take the cash register out of the lunchroom. So everybody knows those kids over there are a free and reduced lunch program. They can't leave campus to eat lunch because their parents don't have the money. Tell me what you guys are doing to minimize the social shaming that goes on with being a Title I kid.
This year, we're just trying to get things started. I think it's something we definitely need to look into and definitely need to develop in terms of making sure that it's just part of our culture. It's a part of our community, right? Ideally, most of it, if we are doing our job well, our ELs, for the most part, are going to be in the elementary school. If we're reclassifying within 5 years, by the time they get to high desert, we have just the kids that are coming in new to that country. And we have to really develop and work with them on that aspect of it. But I think it's something we got to just make part of our culture. It can't be something that's changed. I think it's pretty cool that these kids are where they're at. And I mean, I talk to these kids and it's like, you guys got an incredible thing. You know how much I would love to be able to have 2 languages in me right now and just learn how to develop it and make it something that's a part of our world instead of something that's shameful. It's
only I would say this, but it has bothered me since I've sat up here that every year we would traipse a bunch of kids up here and basically send the message out, you're good enough to feed my horse for me now or water my lawn, but there's never, ever been this kind of document here. Congratulations, this has been shameful to me.
Thank you. I know this is a lot of work by a lot of people, and nice to have. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you, ladies, for all your hard work you do. I'm not really going to bang the drum anymore. I'm going to leave the educators in the room to guide me on this one. So, but thank you for all the work and being here late tonight. Thank you.
An important task, did I hear right, 2012?
Yes. And it was only in PD format, so we had to read.
Yes, I like, oh my God. So thank you for your hard work in getting this together. Because I recall that I had a student in my zero English. And so I went and I said, where's my support? How do I help this student? Well, we can try to do some translation. And I went to him, he says, no, English, no, English. And he ended up graduating speaking. So it was on his determination, but it's people like you and the support that you give these students early on. By the time, and I'm really appreciative of your comment that this should be a normal course of our events, that these kids are included. There's no shame in having, I would love to be bilingual. I would love to be trilingual. If there's anything I could do, I don't want $1 million. I want to be able to speak multiple languages. I mean, I want to be able to communicate. So thank you for your hard work on this. I certainly appreciate it.
I will tell you that I've been able to watch, especially Paula at High Desert, and we have a kid that was brand new to the country, and it's just having her there and having our aides there and having Tiffany there has been huge this year, because they're able to sit down and have a conversation with those kids and make them feel welcome. And I don't know how many times I see that kid's hand go up in math, and I just look at Paula like, okay, dude, like you're up, and then come tell me what you want, and I'll come help them with math. But I mean, it's just been huge to have these guys here to help us through that process as we try to get all this program in place.
Breaking that barrier that it's okay to speak up and say it in your native language so that we can help you translate. You can speak your native language, and you can also communicate in English. So kudos to you, and thank you very much for your help. And I definitely certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Tiffany.
President, I move that we extend the board meeting until midnight.
No, 10:15.
That was real. No, look at your stack. We can't rush through this. Midnight. If we get done before midnight, that's good.
Second. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Call the question.
Kelly Johnson, aye.
Paul's draft, aye.
Brianna Texon, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Meeting is extended to 12 midnight.
Look, I'm scattered like cockroaches.
Moving right along. All right, 10E presentation, High Desert School block schedule start time. Dr. Zahaki.
Yes, sir. So I know that our trustees did request to get some information about some research behind the benefits of block scheduling, and Ms. Van Orden is going to be presenting on that, and the proposal for a 8 o'clock start time for fall 22-23 school year. So Ms. Van Orden.
All right, so, too many devices in my hand here. So I'm going to try and be really fast because it's late, but if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So we, coming out of the pandemic, our teachers found the benefit of teaching in a block schedule. So all during hybrid and when we returned back to in-campus, in-person learning, we found huge benefits, and it was kind of the missing link for us at High Desert. We had taught in a 45-minute block, which I'm not sure if you've ever tried to teach something in 45 minutes. It's really fast. And kudos to Ms. Alford. I don't know how she makes science labs happen in 45 minutes, but she does. But the advantage of teaching in a 90-minute block and being able to really dive into science labs, projects, et cetera, was huge. So that we set out to get block scheduling to happen. I don't know. You want to just go next? Is it because it's a PDF? Okay. So we have a lot of benefits. I won't read all of them to you, but the biggest thing is the cooperative learning and the ability to really dive into subject matter, to allow the students to have multiple opportunities to engage in material before they go home, especially in mathematics. A lot of times you have like 15 minutes to do a lesson, and if you're trying to do some independent work on things, and you get into station rotation, I did my best when I was in the classroom to cram all that into 45 minutes, but what I wouldn't have given to be able to have time to expand. Next one. And then, so we did come up with a block schedule, and our block schedule does include proposal depending on whether or not it gets approved to do a 2-1-2 schedule. So we do have a block schedule in addition to our Wednesdays, which would be our early release day. And then start time of 8 o'clock. One of the things that came up is that with the busing situation, or the way that the times of the schools start, our schools starting at 7:50 and Vasquez starting at 7:40, we have oftentimes the buses are running later to us, and so it creates an attendance tardiness problem. And so we talked with transportation, moving it that 10 minutes actually makes a big impact to transportation and would help them make sure that our kids are arriving on time. In addition, it seemed to work better for all of our families. When we came back last year from March to June, we actually continued to start at 8 o'clock, and it worked really well. Our tardies were down significantly. So, and then the state decided that middle school should start at 8 a.m. So lucky us, we were already on that path, so we were excited about that. That works for us. And then we did, just to give a little bit of info about what we did to put this out to the community. So we did do a survey in January. We did hold 2 parent meetings. We held one in the evening and one in the morning, midday, so that we could accommodate families that needed to attend at different times of day. In the survey, we also had room for people to submit questions, and we were able to get a lot of those questions answered during our Zoom meeting. And then these are the survey results. So overwhelmingly, families were in favor of going to block scheduling, with 67% of our population reporting that they wanted to do block scheduling that responded. And then additional considerations, we looked at transitioning from the block to traditional at Vasquez and what that might look like. Go ahead to the next one. And then additional resources. And then one of the things we're working on is our teachers had kind of on-the-job training for how to do block scheduling during the pandemic. But we're also looking at specific training, and I'm working with Nicole Chun and our PD committee on that for what that might look like for training on how to best utilize the block schedule. So I went really fast.
Sorry, I know it's getting late, but I have to ask the question. Can we go to slide 2? What period is ELD?
So the ELD period is one of the elective class, so it'll be period 6, same as it is now. So they would also have a block of ELD because it'll be one of their class periods. It's their elective period.
So if they're not on a period 6, they don't have ELD that day?
For that specific day.
Okay, so one of, that's my only missing ELD, having it other day, but I do see one kind of solution that I just want to kind of challenge you to consider. When you have the bullet there that says increased opportunities, enrichment activities, ELD time, and student collaboration, if we could get some kind of protocols and stuff for students to be using the language and having that time to collaborate, and intentional for ELDs, like in other words, just want to be really mindful of what their needs are. So like if they're not going to have ELD that day and we just say all kids are going to collaborate, which they should, are there certain questions and things that we're going to put in place for that collaboration to happen, for ELs to have opportunities to, I'm really using the language. My only fear is I haven't done enough research, so I can't really say, but every other day not having ELD, and then if we're not intentional about using the language, are they going to become LTELs, so that's just something I want to challenge you just to consider, since we've been on talking about ELDs, especially tonight, is to consider the days, especially all days, but are they going to have some time to collaborate? Are we going to be intentional about specifically asking questions and developing some protocols that the ELs are actually having collaborative time?
And we did start some of
If
that
it's just
training.
for all kids and we're not intentional, it won't really hone in on what they
Right.
need, if that makes sense.
We did start some of that training this year for ELs and specifically with all subject areas of how can we really focus on our EL students and providing them those supports that they need in every subject area.
And I did see in the, what was just presented as well, that you guys have some good trainings coming up in the roadmap and stuff. But
Yes.
So that would just be my only kind of thing that I'm wondering and questioning is that, and then just being, what the benefits is the time to collaborate and just being really intentional when it comes to the EL students. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Slide 6, please. I am a graduate of a trimester program. My whole high school was 2-hour classes. There were breakouts of classes, but we would rotate classes. So I fully understand this and getting your class up and running to the point where they learn something and wind them down and getting them to review what you just taught them to figure out whether or not who got what, and not to mention your IEPs and ELs and all that come together. So in 2012, when I was sitting out here, I saw this board vote on 3 different polls or whatever of I guess you just work it till you get the right thing. The number there, 60, is this reflective of the polling of all the families that would be affected, or is this just the respondents?
This is everybody who responded.
So how many
there's 76 responses.
So I can see that. How many did not respond?
So we have a student population of 270 at the time that this was done. So there are a significant portion of families that did not respond to the survey. Some of those have multiple kids.
Those are the families that typically, once this gets kicked in because they're not engaged, will stand out here in the audience, and then there'll be this claim that we don't support what's happening at the sites and that type of thing. So
Should only be 7 or 8 then.
here's what I think is going to skew the data. I think there's families that have 2 and 3 kids in the class, especially since there's other ones started. But I do need to know what percent was not responded. I run processes in the city where you have to have 51% or more, and I don't think that's been met. I already told you that I support the idea of teaching. I think it's a more effective way of teaching. Last thing I want to know is what remedies are being considered that you might have here. What remedies are being offered on the early out days for people who are commuters and have grown accustomed to this? Because you're basically breaking a work schedule up where somebody has, one of my pet peeves is whoever the parent is that makes the least money in the work environment, the commuter work environment, is the one that has to go home 1 day a week, and then when it comes promotion time, I'm going to be frank again. Oh, Star, you're a female. You're the one that always goes home when your kids are sick, so we really can't look at you for this position. I need to know what the district is doing to provide some remedy for the period of time in which somebody is going to have to be there 30 or 40 minutes early. I just need to know that there was some consideration given that.
If I could answer that, Mr. Fosgaff, very quickly, we're working with the Sunny Days program for the early release on Wednesday so that our K through 2nd grade students could actually have an opportunity for that gap of time from the traditional time of dismissal. And our task force under Ed Services, our group is working to provide enrichment activities to go ahead and fill that gap of time.
So those enrichment activities, I don't expect they would be at the expense of a family budget.
That's correct.
I have a quick question. Do we get ELOP funding?
Mr. Mirza, yes.
Okay. So we can talk about that later because it's getting late, but that could be one of the remedies that we're considering. Thank you.
I want to drive that where I really want to get this issue down to is it is a known fact that your kid will learn more, retain more, and have the ability for the teacher to identify those kids that are struggling or those kids that are advanced instead of jamming it in the last 5 minutes and saying that this, whatever we do up here doesn't support the site. I take offense to that. I want to be able to get this to the point where we show people, the numbers already show, everything you said is true, that if you can't figure out that we need to have your kid in that class longer to do math better, I don't want to argue with people like that. We do need to exhaust our part on the social side of it, the economic side of it for families. Gas is very expensive now. Okay, I'm done. Thanks, guys. You're doing a great job.
I know you have put a lot of work into this and a lot of thought. We've been working on this for a long time, so thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You have my support on the block scheduling. Let's try to get Ken's questions answered and satisfy that. Thank you for all your hard work and being here late tonight.
I know that there's a lot of curiosity to, oh, we want to do this. And I understand as an educator that the value of having students in their seats for hand-based projects that I could get them. I can't get it done in 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I understand that and I have no problem whatsoever. But are you assuring us that there's been staff development and how to plan their lesson for 90 minutes as opposed to a 40-minute lesson plan?
So there was on-the-job training that we, lived through with the pandemic, but we have also looked into with the support of Nicole Chen and the PD committee through the Burr Institute and some other options. So there are PDs that we're looking into for our staff for upcoming before we roll this out.
So that they'll be prepared that, because we've heard from years, it's bell-to-bell teaching. Well, bell-to-bell, 40 minutes is easy because you got to get in there and get going. But here you have a little bit more time. You can spend time with explaining problems, exposing, like in science and stuff, having time for the projects for the kids to critically think. So as long as you're comfortable with the fact that we're going to have PD to support this, so our staff are going in there prepared to be able to handle the change. And then my other question is on this 27.6, were there any outstanding comments provided as to why they didn't want this that you're aware of?
The comments, I'd have to pull it up, but from what I remember, most of the comments were actually questions. And so we built the answers to those questions into the presentation because we read the comments before the parent meetings.
So you've responded to those questions in a way that's positive, said this is a benefit for your son or daughter.
Right.
This is why we're doing this. As long as they know that we're doing it for that, for the students' benefit. And then along with what Sunny Days is that on that early out Wednesday that a parent, oh, my kid there, and you're going to be the only site that has it, and we're going to be able to accommodate those students that are going to have to hang around for a couple hours until mom and dad get there and pick them up.
I think we're trying to do district-wide for the early out.
Well, district-wide.
Yeah.
For everybody's going to be on Wednesday early out. Correct.
Yeah.
If that works fine, as long as that we don't, because this is going to be the one fundamental change at the site is block scheduling. Everybody else is going to be staying the way they are. So as long as you've accommodated that and you're comfortable that you're preparing your staff, that's great. I thank you for the hard work. I know that it works. My nephew swears by it. His high school does it, and we know it's the best. It's the best.
And it'll be, our 5th and 6th grade have done an uninterrupted block for forever, and Meadowlark, and it does the same thing with their uninterrupted block, so it'll be a really nice transition into middle school as well with switching teachers.
Tim, may I want everybody out there that's watching to understand something here. For an issue like this to make it to this level, the administration has to support it. They don't just come in here and throw whatever they want on the table. And sometimes you have to understand the questions, especially the ones I ask, are meant, I may know the answer already, but I'm trying to communicate to the public. These are the kinds of questions. We're watching what's going on. We're looking at educational balance, but at the same time, you hear stuff, well, this benefits this person or that person. So the questions we ask are important to educating the community and to verifying the process. It's not the teacher's fault. It's not the site principal's fault if you do not respond to surveys. But don't think that the superintendency team lets things boil the surface and lets us just figure out willy-nilly what's going to happen. For this to have this level, to get to this point, there you've got the support of the board behind the scenes. The voting is a formality.
Thank you, Ms. Van Horn. 10F, Acton Aguadulce Teachers Association, AATA tentative agreement. Dr. Motion to consider. I'll move.
I'll move it in, or should somebody else move it in?
Kelly second. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. For items 10F through 10H, Mrs. Shaw and Mr. Mirza would be addressing the board for any questions as it relates to the CBA agreement.
Okay, we'll go down the line real quickly. 10F, are there any board member discussion on 10F, the tentative agreement with AATA?
No, just thanks for everyone's hard work and coming together and collaborating. So thank you very much.
I have a question for both of these. Have these been run through LACO and met the 1200s, AB 1200 series?
Yes.
Have they issued a document that says that they've looked at what is being proposed, all associated costs, and given you a letter that says that this falls into the budgetary things and they don't see a problem in the out years?
Yes.
That this will not affect our certification?
Yes, I'd like to comment on that and read into the record. I received a letter from LACO, from Hoyt Yee, and I won't read the whole thing, but it's addressed to me as Mr. Jorgensen, the board president, Acton-Agua-Dulce, and it's regarding the agreement provides, and it goes into the provisions of the tentative agreement. But there's a paragraph that I want to make sure that I read here. It says, pursuant to Assembly Bill 1200, and there's other chapters in there, the Los Angeles County Superintendent of Schools reviewed the Acton-Agua-Dulce Unified School District's public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement concerning a tentative agreement with the Acton-Agua-Dulce Teachers Association. The agreement covers the period beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022, and is scheduled for the governing board consideration today, May 12th, 2022. Now, the key element here is as a reminder, Education Code 42142 requires the district superintendent to send to the county any revisions to the district's current budget to fulfill the collective bargaining settlement within 45 days of adoption. And then it goes on to says, we appreciate that the district staff's cooperation during our review of the disclosure and related documents in our office. If our office may be of further assistance, please call me. So this is an acknowledgement by LACO and Mr. Yee that the board has presented the information to them and that we are in good stead with it. And I want to congratulate staff and everyone for putting that together.
Okay, so I'll continue with my comments now. It was, as we've gone through this collective bargaining thing, there were moments in the board meeting where all of a sudden people wanted to talk about collective bargaining and who should get what and all that. And I think those people knew that we can't sit up there in collective bargaining affect that process in any way. I want to thank the associations for understanding the importance that there is no direct correlation between the reserve, because we don't have enough money coming in to support ourselves without that reserve right now. And that reserve serves as a buffer until such time that we are able to support our efforts with attracting and retaining our own ADA. So there was a lot of talk about the budget, and I'm sitting up here with tape on my mouth because I know better. I know what's going on, but it's the optics sometimes. I congratulate the associations on coming forward, being reasonable in all the things. And there are times in the past when I knew the charter thing wasn't going to work because they weren't giving raises to the teachers. Any idiot could see that. So thank you at this point for guys for being reasonable, not only in your salary negotiations, your benefit negotiations, and your COVID service pays. You have been extremely fair to the public, and it will be my honor to vote to approve both of these.
Okay, call the question on 10F, Acton-Agua-Dulce Teachers Association, AATA tentative agreement.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 10G, MOU, Acton-Agua-Dulce Teachers Association Pandemic Services Bonus Check. Move a motion to consider. Chad moves.
Kelly second.
Kelly seconds. Dr. Zahaki. Or Mr. Razan?
Mr. Mirza, Ms. Shaw, I think we covered the pandemic service bonus check for both classified and certificated.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Scarpa, aye, assuming the questions are the same with the same answers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 10H, MOU Classified School Employees Association 473 CSEA Pandemic Services Bonus Check. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly. Chad. Board member discussion. Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Scarpa, aye, with the same consideration.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 11A, Personnel Action Report. Motion to consider. Chad moves. Brianna seconds. Dr. Zahaki?
We don't have it, we do not have an amendment to the PAR report for this evening, so what was posted is accurate.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call.
I'm going to pull. I can't let Mr. Ted Pelham go away without comments. He has been significant in every way. I can't think of somebody that's been more stable the whole time. Walking into a classroom, consummate professional. Kim, am I to vote on this tonight? Okay.
It's an action item.
I would also like to speak about Mr. Pelham. He is the only teacher in this district that had my brother, myself, my sister, and 5 out of 6 of my kids. I think my brother was in his first class, and then I had him for 5th grade. I knew that I wanted my kids to be in his class because I remember what a phenomenal teacher he was for me and my family. He was incredible to work with. He was incredible in the classroom, incredible on the campus. I do consider him a friend. It makes me incredibly sad to see him on this report. So, Teddy P, good luck with, your future things you got going on, but we will definitely miss you. You've definitely made an impact on me, my family. So thank you very much for all that you've done.
I want to congratulate Mr. Pelham on choosing to retire. He's going to enjoy it. We're going to miss him greatly, though, in his long-term service to our students in the 5th grade level. Also, I want to talk about Ms. Shaw. Ms. Shaw, we appreciate you coming out of retirement to help us out during the transition in the last administration. You served us well. You worked hard with our HR and our agreement here with our teachers and our classified. And so it's my pleasure. I wish you the best, and I thank you again for all your service and coming out of retirement. I know that's a challenge, but now you can take that Nevada licensed car and have a good time. Anyway, thank you for your service and coming back to help us. It's been much appreciated. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, abstain.
Fallsgraf, abstain. Now what?
Anna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 3-0-2. Second read and adoption 2021 Comprehensive Safety Plan. Motion to, let's say this is a read and adopt. Motion to consider. Chad will move.
I'll second.
Brianna second. Dr. Zahaki.
Mr. Jorgensen, you mentioned the second read, the comprehensive safety plan. There was some recommendations from our trustees back in February. Those accommodations were made in the final draft. For example, dress code, we've hyperlinked the dress code for each and every one of our sites to the safety plan, and other elements were actually updated per the request of our board, and that's what you have attached to the board agenda for this evening. So thank you to everybody involved.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 11C, 2022-23 Academic USD school calendar. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly? Chad, seconds. Dr. Zaki?
Yes, sir. The calendar has been amended. Minor tweaks. There was an error in the original where we had the winter break starting on the 18th of December. We changed it to 19th, which is the correct version. And the winter break was color coded incorrectly on the draft, so that was color corrected.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 12B, removal and replacement of gate transportation extension of fence and protective mesh for security. Motion to consider. Chad?
Kelly Jensen, second.
Kelly? Dr. Zahaki?
Dr. Mirza?
Yeah, so this is just to replace and upgrade our transportation fence because we've had recent break-ins and our catalytic converters from a couple of our buses were stolen. And so this is just to add extra security measures, protective mesh, a rolling gate, lights, alarms, etc.
Board member discussion? I have one comment. Now, you mentioned to me in your conversation that we've taken receipt of one of our two buses, and we're securing them at alternate sites pending this change so that we protect, because both of those buses are catalytic converter. I want to spend some time to talk to you about a space block that they locks those buses so that even if they get in the yard, they can't get those catalytic converters. I have some concepts that I want to pass by you about that, but yeah, I think that's great. Because it's just, because we have one bus out here now that has missing its catalytic converter, so we can't put back in service.
They're both back. They're getting repaired. Yeah.
Getting repaired. So we were able to find them. Okay, cool. All right, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 12B, Acton Agua Teachers. It's the AB 1200 for Acton Agua Teachers Association. Motion to consider. Chad?
Second.
Who is that?
Brianna.
Brianna. Dr. Zahaki?
It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the AB 1200 for our district's Teachers Association fees.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 12C, salary schedule and updated stipend list for AATA. Dr. Zahaki, our motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly?
Second.
Brianna? Dr. Zahaki?
We recommend that our trustees approve the teacher salary schedule and updated stipend list.
Board member discussion? I want to point out to the board members that this stipend schedule includes coaching, athletic coaching, and stipend positions at Meadowlark, correct? Or is that
High Desert.
At High Desert, I know. At High Desert, which is something that we sorely need to help it be that transition to go forward.
This
That's
is
another terrible thing we've done.
and by terrible, he means incredibly awesome. We're very excited about offering
Like
this.
10 years of not doing it.
This is incredibly awesome for our
With all that
students.
charter money, we still couldn't do it.
Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Salary schedules for certificated management and salary schedules Z and Y. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly.
Chad seconds.
Chad. Dr. Zahaki.
It's recommended that our trustees approve the certificated management salary schedule and salary schedules Z and Y.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, motion carries. 13A, second reading adoption of administrative regulations and board policies, agenda items B through S.
Point of order.
Yes?
There was some concern in the community that we didn't discuss any of these things, that there are a million things in here that are important to our students and that we just blew through it. This was a mandatory update that was voluntarily done by our staff. I will speak, if board members, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, jump right in. All of the red lines were provided to the board ahead of the meetings. All of the red lines were reported, given to the public in the agenda that was posted to the public. All of the amendments or red lines fall in line with California Department of Education, and furthermore, each and every red line was reviewed by the legal staff before this board was provided with the first read. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
So that said, I won't have any discussion, even if somebody feels that they need me to.
Correct, and the red lines are still here tonight. You can say
Right
that.
there.
Mhm.
Were there any questions from the community about any of these plethora of documents, even a question about one single word being out of place in them?
I did not receive any specific questions about any specific BP, board policy, or AR administrative rights.
Imagine that, okay.
Further discussion? Okay, we'll go through these, each one item so I can read them into the record. 13A, call the question.
So moved.
Second.
Ken?
Are we voting?
Yes.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye. If you're waiting on me, you're running backwards.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 13A carries 5-0. 13B, second reading of administrative regulations, AR 5125 and board policy BP 5125. Motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen.
Kelly.
Chad.
Chad. Board member discussion. Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13C, second reading adoption, board policy BP 5125.1 administrative regulation, AR 5125.1, release of directory information.
I'll move.
Second.
Ken, Kelly, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13D, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, AR 5125.2, withholding grades, diploma, and transcripts. Motion to carry.
Chad Woods.
Chad,
Kelly second.
Kelly, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13E, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, AR 5125.3, challenging student records. Motion to consider.
Brianna motion.
Kelly second.
Brianna, Kelly. No further discussion. Call the question.
Kelly, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13F, second reading adoption, administrative regulation and board policy, AR 5126, B, board policy 5126, awards for achievement. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly.
Second.
Chad. No further discussion. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
What's that chirping noise?
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. No, it's not mine. Mine's louder than that. The cops are coming. We have to hurry. 13G, second read and adoption, board policy BP 5127, graduation ceremonies and activities. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Chad.
Second.
Kelly. Okay, hold on. I got
I had
a
my
question.
first beer.
Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you're up. Aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0. Motion carries. 13H, second read and adoption, board policy BP 5131, conduct.
So moved.
Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly.
Second.
Brianna. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13I, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, board policy AR 5131.1, board policy 5131.1, bus conduct. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Chad,
Second.
Brianna, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, motion carries. 13J, second reading adoption, board policy BP 5131.4, administrative regulation AR 5131.4, campus disturbances. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly,
Chad second.
Chad, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13K, second reading adoption, board policy BP 5131.5, vandalism, theft, and graffiti. Motion to consider.
Brianna motion.
Brianna,
Kelly second.
Kelly, call the question.
Aye. Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, motion carries. 13L, second reading adoption, board policy BP 5131.5, vandalism, theft, and graffiti.
So moved.
Kelly,
Chad second.
Chad, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
This is a double.
It's a double. Okay, we already did that.
Hold on.
KK, it's a double.
Okay, skip that.
13M, second reading adoption, board policy 513161, drug testing. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly,
Chad second.
Chad, call the question.
Kelly, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, motion carries. 13N, second reading adoption, administrative regulation and board policy AR 513162, board policy 513152, tobacco. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly,
Second.
Brianna, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, the motion carries. 13O, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, board policy AR 5131.63, board policy 5131.63, steroids. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly,
Second.
Brianna, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13P, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, board policy AR 5131.7, board policy 5131.7, weapons and dangerous instruments. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Chad,
Second.
Brianna, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13Q, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, board policy AR 5132, board policy 5132, dress and grooming. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly,
I'll second.
Brianna, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13R, second reading adoption, administrative regulation, board policies AR 5136, board policy 5136 gangs. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly,
I'll second.
Brianna, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. 13S, second reading adoption, board policy BP 5137, positive school climate. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Chad,
Second.
Kelly, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Sharp, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye.
Chad Wadsworth. Aye.
Tim Jorgensen, 5-0. Motion carries.